Oh, Natsuno, I forgot that you're like way... you're way younger than I am. Oh man, that makes me feel really old right now. Oh shit, webcam's not on. Hang on. There we go. All right, we got it. Howdy, guys. Join Discord. Yeah, Natsuno, you could join Discord if you want. I don't know if everybody wants to join the Discord. It's so tough because not everybody likes using Discord, and I can't blame anybody who doesn't like it. To be honest, I've been in so many different Discords, and it gets to be a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest. So I definitely try to limit how many I join at this point. So like, it never bothers me if somebody doesn't want to join Discord, because I'm like, I get it. I've been in like 25, 30, maybe at the most at one point. At this point now, I think we're like in maybe 12. And most of them I don't even interact in. Oh shit, that's really loud. Sorry, guys. All right, guys, happy Monday. We got some stuff to go over, some stuff I haven't actually made videos about. Halo 2's 20th anniversary. Halo 2. Yeah, that one really hurt. That one was a kick in the nuts, I'll tell you that. The funniest thing was, I think, what was it, when Alyssa Mercante went over to Rolling Stone, she did an article about Halo 2, and I'm like, I hate it, but she's probably right. Because honestly, like, it's that whole meme about the worst person you know has made a great point. It's like, yeah, for me, Halo 2 was peak Halo. I know a lot of people love Halo 3 because it's like, that was what a lot of the Zoomers grew up on. But from, oh, Half-Life. Oh, that's right, Halo 2 was like 25 years, wasn't it? Dude, I've never even played Half-Life. I have a copy of it, I never even played. Google AI is turning into Skynet? That is not something I've seen. That is something I will have to check out. That's nuts. I've seen a lot of like the unhinged AI stuff has gotten pretty out of control. Not gonna lie, it's been like, if you're already a paranoid person and you start looking at like where AI is going from where it's been, it could be pretty scary shit, not gonna lie. It could be pretty terrifying. But you know, it's, at this point now, I think AI is so limited by the constraints that it has in place, given the fact that it only really learns from what's input into it and nothing more. Yeah, I think I have Half-Life 2 on Steam. Let me take a look here. Pretty sure I've got it. No, I've got Half-Life 1. Oh, Half-Life 2 is free, you said. Let me go find it. Half-Life 2 RTX, is that it? Half-Life 2 is 99 cents. What's RTX? It's a community-made mod. Huh. Yeah, Half-Life 2 is 99 cents, it said, but that's basically free. That's like legitimately free. But the thing is, I don't even want to spend the $1 on it because I've got so many games I've never even touched. The Walking Telltale Definitive Series has no woke DI slop, thank God. Well, okay, so we're gonna go over some of the Game Awards shit, only because there's a lot of snubs that are worth mentioning, a lot of controversy around some of this. Even though the picks are decent for like Game of the Year, there's some really weird ones. Real quick, guys, make sure you check the link down below if you are shopping for a PC. Meta PCs right now does have this big November sale going on, this Black November. They've got a mystery box included with your shipment. You can get savings on all their builds. Savings up to $320 on all their ready-to-ship systems, so definitely worth checking out. If you guys are looking to get a computer, I know that not everybody is in the financial state right now to be upgrading their PCs. Some people do it like I do, where you build your own, swap parts out now and then, that's fine. But if you are looking to buy one, just go check them out, link down below. And of course, Instant Gaming, I talk about them a lot, but they've been a sponsor, so I kind of need to. And I've got a giveaway down below as well, so go check them out too. Oh dude, this Game Awards shit is like for real, it's terrible. Oh, I missed the date. Okay. Well, it's, dude, I could, like I said, it's 99 cents. If I really wanted to, if it really mattered to me that much, I could spend 99 cents and get the game. But why would I spend 99 cents on a game that I've never played before? Also, guys, I've got my Christmas lights set to like red, white, green cycling through here. If this needs to be a solid color because it's like making the camera go in and out of focus, let me know, because I can just change it to like a solid color. Do you think Trump winning made Gamergate stronger? So it's really funny. Dude, I've heard a lot of different opinions on this. I have seen a lot of people who think that Gamergate won, especially coming from like the liberal media side of things, that believe Gamergate won elected Trump the first time around in 2016. I've seen people on the Gamergate 2 side of things saying that we actually had much less impact to getting Trump reelected than a lot of people want to give themselves credit for. So I don't know. What I do think we will start to see with Trump being elected is a lot less of the pandering, the bullshit to the woke crowd that we really don't need. Is the light from China? Well, probably made in China. They're decent brand LED lights, but it's an LED smart strip. I have it cycling red, white, green for Christmas. But like I said, it's not so good when it comes to like the camera trying to focus and all that. So hang on a second. I'm going to just give it a solid light. Let me do this. There. We'll just leave it one solid color. A little less distracting. All right. Is this what we wanted to start with? Yeah, we'll start with this Ubisoft stuff, and then we'll work our way to the Game Awards, because the Game Awards thing is really like... it's pretty insane. So, in case any of you missed this a few days ago, and this is an article from Smash JT, he's got a couple we're going to go over this stream. Apparently there was a leak from within Ubisoft that showed that they were planning to add a battle pass to Assassin's Creed Shadows, which I think is kind of insane. Given the fact that this is, again, a single-player game, it's not multiplayer, there's no, like... there shouldn't be a whole bunch of microtransactions because it's not a free-to-play game, but they did apparently have a battle pass. And so I don't know if this is going to get scrapped now that this has kind of come out. People have been like freaking out online about this. Rightfully so. I mean, here's the thing. I complain about microtransactions a lot. I think they're dumb for the most part. I prefer complete games with a few optional DLC type things. But if you want to spend your money on skins and cosmetics, I have no reason to stop you. I just think it's kind of stupid, to be honest. Oh yeah, the Ubisoft 2B costume is terrible. 100%. You have to get into it while growing up. People who try to jump in right now already experienced a lot of the games that were inspired by Half-Life. Yeah, I could see that being a problem. Korean Cowboy, battle pass for a single player game. That's the thing. I think it's dumb, but here's the thing. People spend their money on all sorts of crap. Who am I to tell you what you should and shouldn't spend your money on? That's not what we're doing here. If you want to spend your money on a battle pass for a single player game, I guess more power to you. If you got that kind of money to blow, go for it. But it seems dumb to me. It's one thing if, like I said, if there's an event skin, or if there's like DLC, or if you want to get like optional cosmetics for your character. But here's the crazy shit, right? Because most optional costumes, if you're playing on PC, you can download from a mod and get, better made mods than you can get from the actual studios themselves. So at that point, why wouldn't you just download mods to have different costumes for your characters? Battle Pass for a game that's a single player game seems insane. Yeah, Pirate got better versions than legit buyers. Yeah. Yeah, so Assassin's Creed Mirage got cracked without de novo. So the crazy thing is that, hey, Oblivion, de novo does not stop these games from getting cracked anyways. And sometimes it's a matter of hours, days before the game gets cracked and put out there for, again, to be pirated anyways. So the whole de novo thing, in my opinion, is insane. I don't understand the need for de novo. That's another thing too, Mahendra. The Ubisoft launcher thing is a real thing. For example, of all my little taskbar icons down here, you can see I have got Xbox over here. I've got Steam. I've got my Windows, Microsoft Store for updates. We've got Epic. I check in for free games every few days. Amazon games I have pinned, but I don't even use. I've got a shitload of free games from Amazon Prime. My EA launcher right here. The one I don't have pinned is Ubisoft. And the funny thing about that is Ubisoft is connected to my Xbox Game Pass account, but I never use it. Ever. Okay? I never use it. So the reality is most people, even if you force them to use the Ubisoft launcher, are probably just going to opt to play other games. Oh, yeah. The whole Battle Pass thing, it is 100% to show off to other people. it is completely designed to be like, I'm going to flex my skins. Look, my kids, I've already had the conversations with them about Pride Month and all the little icons that you can get in like banners for your Among Us characters and the transgender pride flags. They understand all of that is just corporate pandering to make people feel like they care about them. I've already had these conversations with my kids. So when they play a game that has that crap in it, they're not fooled by it. Okay, they get it. I've explained all this stuff to them. So then they just go and play the game and they ignore all the rest of that crap. So my kids, they all like playing Apex Legends. And I've had this conversation. I'm like, yeah, they made all these characters gay and this and that. Just ignore that. If you want to play the game, fine. There's not many shooters out there as far as competitive shooters that are like Apex. So I get why my kids enjoy playing it, right? So I'll play with them. And I tell you what, the skins that they have put into this game are insane. Like, there are people that have probably spent hundreds of dollars on their skins and their cosmetics and their banners and everything else. They're, again, buying the Apex packs to try to get their rare materials, to get their heirloom items and all that shit. Thousands of dollars, probably. But that's not even close to like the whole Counter-Strike thing. Isn't it Counter-Strike that has real money where people can buy weapons from each other, weapon skins? Like some of them being like $10,000 in their locker. It's unreal. NS, yo, sorry for the delay, was watching a Lib Meltdown compilation, absolute banger. Dude, put that on Discord, I'll take a look at it later. See, Avernum, I've thought about downloading Unreal Engine 5 just to mess around with it. I probably will one day. And will it be gone? What about Gamergate? It will never be gone. So, Natsuno, the woke crap is never going to leave. That's like saying, you know, that communism as an ideology will ever disappear. It won't. There will always be somebody out there that thinks that the government giving you free shit is the way to go. And so you're always going to have people who are like-minded, who are going to continue to... Sorry, my caffeine's catching up to me. Who will perpetuate these ideologies regardless of what's going on in the culture war or who's in office. You know, that's never going to go away. What will change is the public perception and the corporate pandering, because once people realize that that's not profitable anymore, and we're going to get to that in a second. Actually, I've got Sungrand's Studios' most recent video queued up here because I want to touch on this stuff, especially with Ubisoft, because they were like public enemy number one when it comes to the pandering, to, again, buying into all this woke bullshit and trying to appease a very small group of people. So we'll get into them in a second. If democracies came back in 2030, man, democracy's overrated. Let's start off as a Democrat. Well, and you know, the funny thing, NS, is I was born in 86. So I was born in the second term of Reagan, which I was very proud about for a long time. I'm like, oh yeah, the year I was born, Top Gun came out. We had Reagan as president in his second term. Everything was great in the 80s, right? The older I got, the more I realized that the second term Reagan wasn't that great. In fact, he was not the best candidate around by his second term. I guess he started to develop dementia, and he kind of went back to his Democrat roots, I guess. But again, I'd have to do a much more like deep history dive to really understand that. But yeah, I don't want to say people can't change, because clearly they can. Look at Trump and his cabinet; they're all former Democrats. So I don't think the parties necessarily mean what they used to anymore. I think that there's a lot more room for like wiggle room and all that. So anyways, yeah, they've got this battle pass and all that crap. And ironically, John actually messaged me over the weekend. He wanted me to write this article, but I'm like, John, I have no time. I really wanted to get this written, but he managed to write this up. And this is pretty just like shocking shit right here, right? Democratic, yeah. Well, again, I said Democratic Republic, and somebody else corrected me and said Constitutional Republic. I mean, I get that we're a republic founded on the Constitution, but again, yes, democratically elected republic essentially is where we are. That could happen. Trump is losing 2020. You think so? But NS, the thing is, we all had to live through the last 4 years. That's the unfortunate side of it. So John's got this article over on Fandom Pulse on the Substack that says Assassin's Creed EP admits that Ubisoft does not know where players are and how the company can reach them. And the crazy thing was, he's talking about this guy, executive producer Mark Alexis Cote, who admitted that Ubisoft does not know where players are and does not know how to reach players with its games. Now, again, he sent me the timestamp. I watched the clip, and it was a very small part of the entire interview, but I think it was one of those mask-off moments where he just kind of slipped up, and he just blurted it out without actually thinking about what he was saying. Yeah, Japanese manga got banned in school. Was it banned in Japan or banned over here in the US? It would not surprise me if it got banned in the US. So it says, during the Q&A portion of an interview with XDS24 Conference, GOTY was asked how external development will affect Ubisoft in the next 3 to 5 years. He responded with, "I think we're in an era of peak change." No shit, Sherlock. They know the Asians just have better stuff. 100%, man. I honestly, if I could take my family anywhere right now, outside of the country, and just if money was not an option or a budget issue, I would pick Japan or Spain. From what I've heard about Europe, I think Spain is probably like the last safe haven left where you could find land, great scenery, good food, good economy. Everything's like untouched by like mass migration. Or Japan. But it allowed the White House to filth to expose itself, paving the way for Trump to win. Yeah, I mean, hopefully, NS, what I'm hoping for in 4 more years is that people don't just revert back to their old ways. We'll see. We'll see if people realize when you can compare non-COVID second-year Trump to the previous 4 years, you know. I mean, I would consider living in Poland. I don't know if Poland's better than Spain. I think scenery-wise, Spain has probably got it beat. I do like some Polish food. I love really good beer. But I think Spain probably has, like, edges them out in the food category. Maybe the weather and the scenery, too. Spain might just have it made. I don't know. But again, I'm speaking from, you know, the opinion of somebody who's never been to either place. I've always wanted to visit, like, Kyoto, Japan. But we'll see. Oh, that's the thing, Mahendra. I am super like, I hate those videos when people go to Japan and they like, you know, pose with the people, the statues and shit and do all those like break dancing. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you, man? Like, keep that shit in the US where it belongs. So he said, I don't know what the industry is going to look like in 5 years, but clearly we're transforming. That's a hell of a way to put it. And I think it can create anxiety. I see it as a challenge that we need to solve together, because whether it's in the AAA or even in the more indie space, the recipe for success, as it's been in the last maybe 20 years, is dramatically shifting. So we still need to innovate, he continued. We need to control our costs because they have ballooned clearly over the last 5 years. This is coming from Ubisoft, who allegedly spent $600 million on Skull and Bones, a game that nobody asked for. And this dude is like, oh yeah, we gotta get our costs lower. Oh. Wait, he said Norway was worse than Poland? That's funny because Norway has actually like imported a lot more migrants than Spain, I want to say. I know that a lot of the Scandinavian countries have been importing a lot of migrants. Doesn't liberal in Japan mean right-wing? I think so. I think liberal in Japan is actually more conservative. You'd have to ask Mari on Discord or hear if she pops into chat. When I've got a question about Japan, she's the one I go to. It depends on what kind of scenery you want. They couldn't pay me enough to go to Spain on vacation, let alone live there. Really? But doesn't Spain have like the orchards and the trees and the fields and all that? For me, that's like. But then again, I would love to go to Ireland, just go see like the hills of green and the rocks and all that. But again, I live in Washington, so my weather here is like it rains 6 months out of the year, anyways. So UK, Ireland, anywhere like Scotland, that shit I'm already used to. It just has less people than we have here. Argentina is easy to move to. Argentina. El Salvador now, but I don't know about the scenery or the food. I imagine the food's probably pretty decent. Next, he shared how the company does not know where players are and does not know how to get them to play their games. I wonder if he's got the timestamp on here. He does.
So we still need to innovate. We need to control our costs because they have ballooned clearly over the last 5 years. We need to find where players are, which has been a question that I've been having for the last 2 years. Where are players? What are they playing? Where do we reach them? So all this, I think, will become clearer in the coming years as our industry transforms.
See, right there, I think that you can be charitable and say that he's not legitimately asking where are the players, what are they playing. But honestly, I think it was more of a mask-off moment where they've probably had a lot of conversations about this, given the last year or two, the way the games industry has gone, where they're legitimately asking, like, wait a second, why are nobody playing like our games? Why is nobody showing up for games like Concord? Why is nobody playing Suicide Squad? Why is nobody playing Skull and Bones? Why is nobody excited about Assassin's Creed Shadows or Star Wars Outlaws? You know? The players are playing Stellar Blade. Dude, and these are the same people who are in bed with the games media. The games media attacks games like First Descendant or Stellar Blade for having jiggle physics. Everyone freaks out about it. They go, you can't do that. You can't sexualize women. You can't have femininity in your game because that's toxic and bigoted. And then you have these guys, these executives who make millions of dollars a year. Like, what do you think this guy gets paid? What's his freaking name again? Cote? Let me see. Mark Alexis Cote. Let me see. Mark Alexis Cote. Let's see if we can find his salary. Dude, I thought I had dark mode on. Don't I have a dark mode extension? Dark reader. Oh, it doesn't work on here. Okay. Let me see. I'm sure this guy gets paid a hell of a lot of money. And no information about that I can see. Let me check Wiki. Yeah. I just imagine he probably gets a lot of money. Probably gets a shit ton of money. But yet he doesn't know where the players are. Doesn't know where to find anybody. Hey, Vin, how's it going? First time seeing my face? Well, the funny thing is, I don't not use the webcam in my videos because I'm like, oh, I'm trying to stay super anonymous. No, I stay anonymous enough. It's more that I just don't feel like my face needs to be in the videos. You know? Jeff Keighley's a beta male kek. 100% about that, yeah. Can't sexualize women, but women sexualize themselves and only... Okay, Korean Cowboy. Here's the thing. Here is the thing about that. What is the deal with the hypocrisy with women, again, being empowered by sexualizing themselves, but then if you... It's this like, you know, oldest time situation where you have the oldest profession is hookers, right? The prostitutes, because there was a need for lonely men and women who needed money, and they basically filled each other's needs, right? I give you money, you give me, 5 minutes of your time or an hour of your time to make me feel like I'm not alone anymore. And that's how it worked. It was never meant to be glorified. It was, again, they called it the oldest profession because it was the most basic thing a woman could do. It's like, well, I have no other option. I'm going to find some lonely man who's going to pay me for my time. Okay. It was never meant to be glorified or empowered, which is what, again, they call it now as empowerment, because they're strong women that are doing whatever it is that they want with their body. At some point, the desire to be with those women, that hasn't changed, but the women themselves have changed how they view themselves. Instead of thinking that they have to, like, do it out of desperation, now it's, oh no, this is me empowering myself, and if you don't like it, you're a bigot or a sexist. Or it's like, you're forgetting where this started. This started because women legitimately in those situations had nothing else to offer men or offer to pay their bills, and so they would find a man who would pay them for their services. They couldn't get them to pay them for their services if they were screeching at them about feminism or, again, societal injustices or some crap like that. The entire point was an exchange of goods. It was never meant to be glorified, and it was never meant for you to stand on a soapbox and preach at people. Like, you're in no position of moral authority to go after people if you are a sex worker of any kind. That's never what it was intended to be. It was never meant to be empowering. It was never meant to glorify anything, you know? I'm taking Dan's suggestion and starting a line of Pepe the Frog shirts with... Hey, that wasn't my suggestion. Dude, I find the whole your body, my choice thing, I just find funny because of who it comes from. I personally don't think Nick Fuentes is straight. Okay, I don't. I believe he is a poorly closeted homosexual man. I think he could also be a Fed. So I don't even know if anything about him is legitimately like real or authentic. And yet all these people have been freaking out online because he tweeted one thing. And that's the part of it I find funny. You know, feminism's a scam, 100%. Women policing other women and men because look at them, defy the choices of the women who chose to model for the... I mean, yeah. So the thing about it is, Oblivion, it's like, just because you as a feminist or you as a strong, empowered woman or, a modern woman who's sexually in charge of your own body and this and that, whatever you want to call yourself, however you want to label yourself, you have no position of moral authority to judge a woman who wants to be modest or wants to appeal to men who again, doesn't mind men looking at them. There are plenty of women, I'm sure they still exist, that if they get whistled at by some guy on the street, they're not going to go screeching at them and freaking out. The problem is so many women are either the ones that are going to screech out of jealousy, or they're the ones who are going to go, just because I'm attractive doesn't mean you're allowed to notice. Okay, well, why are you dressing that way? If you're not looking for people to notice you, you're not doing that because you want to feel empowered. I'm sorry, I don't buy that one bit. Said she's unrealistic even though she wanted to be a model and chose to. Yeah, again, Asian genetics are always going to defy what the progressive woke-tards are always going to, again, view women as. Because Asian cultures, anything outside of the Western world, really, where they don't have our diets full of all the crap that we eat, they're smaller people, they're much more physically fit, they work harder, they probably don't live as long, let's be honest. Although I think a lot of the countries now, given that the US is all on like freaking medications to stay alive, I think our life expectancy has actually backslid in the last few years. But they are generally smaller, healthier, more fit people because they don't eat the crap we eat. They don't eat the size portions we eat. And therefore they have more unrealistic body proportions, you know? Forcing Japan to censor manga, anime, and video games. I saw something about that. Yeah, they don't say a word about Iran or Turkey because then you'd have to question the fundamental Islamic-run countries versus the Asians who are going to be more docile when it comes to you overstepping your bounds. Let's face it. If the UN tells Japan or tells South Korea, we need you to change X, Y, or Z, those countries are going to be more receptive for some reason than the Arab Emirates, than, Qatar. Of gifting plastic surgeries for 18th birthday. Yeah, I saw some weird shit. Have you guys seen those videos about in China, apparently, the trend now, or it's been a thing for a while, is for these women to have face transplants, like these 50-year-old women to have like an actual face put on them. Hey, Zacob, how's it going? Sorry, dude, I don't do sub for sub. That's not my thing. Never has been. The UN is woke, so they have traditional beauty like East Asia. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I don't know why it's acceptable for the UN to tell anybody what they should or shouldn't do in their own country. But again, I'm pretty much 99% against the UN and NATO and us being part of any organization around the world that's going to tell people how to do things. That's just pretty much where I'm at with that. Basically, Chinese skinwalkers is essentially what it is. I don't think I bookmarked the video on Twitter, but it was the weirdest thing. It was like literally you could see, it was like that movie Face Off with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. It was these Chinese women who had plastic surgery, but it wasn't like, Botox. It wasn't like a skin tuck. It wasn't any of that kind of stuff. They legitimately had a face transplant, which caused a lot of people to question, where are they getting the other faces from, right? Well, theoretically speaking, a lot of people believe it's from human trafficking or from, again, cadavers. Asia doesn't bow down to the UN? I hope not. I just could see, what I'm saying is I could definitely see Asian people being more receptive to UN persuasion than a country like Iran or something. Those other countries would tell them to get stuffed. But again, the UN would never try to delegate to an Islamic country because they knew exactly how that would go. Unfortunately, we don't have the same luxury here in the West. Or from prisons, possibly, Avernum. It's very possible. I think human trafficking is probably a very large possibility when it comes to that kind of stuff. Yeah, so basically, Ubisoft has lost its mind, it's lost its way, has no idea what it's doing. And so I'm going to play this video here from our friend over at Sungrand Studios. Man is kicking ass. This dude, I think when I first found him, he was at like 23,000 subs. This man is at 75,000 subs in like 4 months. Absolutely bonkers. So if you haven't subbed to him, go check him out. I'm going to play his video. This is him addressing Ubisoft, and we'll just kind of comment on this as we go on, because I had some thoughts on this too that I wanted to share.
Thank you for joining me today. This is an open meeting to offer some consultation services to Ubisoft management. My name is Jarrell.
Yeah, Face Off. I love Face Off.
Consultation services to major companies like Nikon, Canon, Fujifilm, and served as public relations manager for the photography industry in Australia. Now,
this is like the most eclectic man on the planet. If you guys haven't like watched his stuff, he plays like various instruments. He designs like little, 2D top-down games. He's done, again, photography. He does all sorts of shit. I think he lives in Australia. So really, really funny, really interesting guy.
When it comes to brand management, marketing, and product planning, you need someone on your team who not only has a deep understanding of the history of your industry and is not only in touch with the modern landscape and the customer base, but also has a vision for the future, past, present, and future. If you do not have those things, you will alienate your audience and your business will stagnate. Today, I will offer my consultation services pro bono, because gamers around the world still want to see good games in the intellectual property that are owned by Ubisoft.
See, I would argue that people are done with Ubisoft at this point. I don't know how you guys feel about it. At this point, if Ubisoft went under and every IP that they were attached to never made another sequel or continued to exist, I wouldn't care. I can't think of, at this point, since like the last Assassin's Creed game I played, a single Ubisoft title that I've played in like the last 5 years that I can even recall. It's not a company that I have any use for at this point. But again, not everyone feels the same way, I'm sure. There are probably some people who are like, oh no, I want to see another Assassin's Creed game, but a good one come out. So I'm sure there are some people who are a little more sentimental about them than I am.
In response to the wishes of gamers that I have heard from around the world, I will waive my customary 12-month retainer and offer advice directly to Ubisoft management. First, recently Assassin's Creed executive producer Marc-Alexis Cote admitted that Ubisoft does not know where gamers are and does not know how to reach players with its games. This is extremely important. If you do not know where your customers are, if you do not know how to reach your players, then you need to hire an individual or individuals who can fulfill those requirements. You need a strong leader who has strong understanding of what audiences around the world want and expect from your products. You need someone who knows how to find your audience, can communicate, listen, and hear what the audience wants.
See, and we'll see as we go through a few more of these points that he has. Yeah, it wasn't a job, Mahendra. It was a volunteer thing that he was doing. You just want your pop trilogy. I don't know if that's going to happen. Not from the current day Ubisoft. That's the thing. I don't know anybody that has any faith or trust in Ubisoft at this point, and he'll go through that in this video, talking about basically what they need to do to right the ship. I don't think that they possess the ability within themselves to self-reflect. I don't think that they have it at this point. Your customers are looking at other companies and playing other company games. That's where they're... Dude, Korean Cowboy, do you know the funniest thing? I have streamed Starship Troopers Extermination twice. Once on Halloween because the other game I was playing turned out to be complete dog shit, so I quit it and played Starship Troopers. And then the other one was the first day I got it from Keymailer, and I checked it out because they send you free keys, and I play them on stream for them. So That game has turned into one of those games I play when I'm like, I get a video done, my wife is still working in the other room, and it's like 11 o'clock, and I'm like, okay, I can play one match of Starship Troopers, and then I can go to bed afterwards. That game has become addictive for me. Like I look forward to at the end of the night being able to play that game. And that's from I don't remember what the studio is. I think it's like an indie studio that made that game. I don't need AAA studios to make games. You really don't. You don't need the big gigantic budgets and the corporate slop in order to have fun and enjoy yourself playing a game. And that's the problem that Ubisoft has, and that they don't understand. Like I said, I think they lack the ability to truly self-reflect.
Then take that information, bring it back to your office so you can make informed decisions about your product development and your brand management. Your brand management officer needs consultants who can offer this level of genuine insight. You do not need a yes man. You do not need a monetization manager. You need someone who can listen to your audience and understand the current technological landscape. You do not need diversity hire for this. Au contraire, hiring someone with special pronouns and blue hair will achieve the exact opposite of what you need right now.
Now, here's the funny thing about this, because I remember I was taking a shower before the stream, and I was trying to plan out what we were going to talk about. I'm listening to this video when I'm in the shower. And the thing that he said about don't go for the specialty, diversity hire, don't go for someone with blue hair, and again the stereotypical, the nose ring, all that crap, pronouns in the bio. The problem is, and I think this is the inherent problem, is that so many of these companies have become convinced. We've known for a long time the squeaky wheel is the one that gets oiled, right? So you have these people like Laura Kate Dale, like Alyssa Mercante, as far as like her side of like the games media, all the consultants, the Kim Bellairs, all of these people working together. So the games media, they're the ones saying games need more diversity. You have the game consultants, the accessibility consultants, that some of them are grifting, calling themselves, that are responding to what the games media is saying, oh yeah, well, I'm a consultant, I can help make your game better. And then they go to the developers, who some of them are also ideologically possessed to believe this crap, and they get together and say, look, here's these people on social media who are complaining about this thing. We have the fix to this thing. So then they all get together without consulting the actual gamers, the customers, because most of us are quietly living our lives, playing our games, going to work, taking care of our families, and that's it. We're not the squeaky wheel. So the inherent problem with all of this is it goes back to the fact that it's a few noisy people who make a big ruckus, a big stink about something. The games media reports on it. The consultants come in and say, we can fix it. And then companies like Ubisoft believe that it needs to be fixed. The issue with Ubisoft now is it is so completely saturated with these people. Go back and watch Gothic Therapy's video talking about where Sweet Baby Inc. started on that podcast that it was on, how it connects back to Ubisoft, and all the people connected to Ubisoft who have then gone on to be part of other consulting companies or games media, journalists, if you even want to call them that. And you start to realize maybe other companies can do this and self-reflect and figure out how to ixnay some of this crap. I think Ubisoft is toast. If I'm being honest, I think that they have hired too many people and believe too heavily in this shit that they can ever fully walk it back.
Hiring an activist for this role will further damage your credibility and put you further off track when it comes to brand management. There is a strong chance that this role will best be filled by a male.
Uh-oh.
He may be straight.
Oh, no.
He may be white.
White, straight male.
Here's the most important part. If you want to be successful, you need to hire team members based on how appropriate they are for the role, not based on their gender, race, or political activism. Secondly, Ubisoft...
That's another thing I was thinking about too. Yeah, Ubisoft is the father of Sweet Baby Inc. Because a lot of people say, I don't want a political activist working for my company. Then you'll see some base developer and he's got, a post about Trump or this or that, and you go, okay, but why is it okay if they're a right-winger or a Trump supporter that, they're based and they're allowed to make games, but the political activists, the left-wing lunatics aren't allowed to? Here's the difference, and I'll say this in a nutshell. Left-wing activists who get involved in Hollywood, game development, writing, journalism, they can't do anything without seeing themselves, needing to be represented, injecting their own politics into everything they touch because they are just completely like obsessed with this shit. People on the other side of the spectrum, you'll get a few of those people that do that too. But in general, anybody who's like a game developer and, you know, right-wing or moderately right-wing or voted for Trump, they still just want to make good games. They just want to tell a good story. They want to make money. Money is a good motivator. And they realize, those people realize that if I want to make money, just like Michael Jordan said back in the day, Republicans buy shoes too. Why would I want to alienate half my audience? The thing is, the left-wing people are the ones who are like, screw these people, the government can go censor them and put them in jail and whatever. They're the ones who don't really care about making money. And there's the difference. Where women don't work at a tech company. I haven't watched an It's a Gundam video for a while. I need to get back like into having him in my rotation of videos that I watch, because I haven't watched a video from him in a little while. He used to be like one of the ones I'd watch regularly. Hey, puppy dog. Stop licking my ear. That's gross. Stop it. Stop licking my ear.
Ubisoft has built its team to develop Assassin's Creed from new hires who have never made a video game before. Over the past months, it has come to light that more development studios and publishers have been hiring based on gender, skin color, and political activism instead of talent, skill, or psychological suitability for the workplace.
And yeah, like I said, that's another thing too. When it's the left-wing activists, a lot of them, especially because there's so many of them already embedded in game development, or in, again, these positions of the higher up level when it comes to like the C-suite level in some of these companies, they don't hire people who are good developers and then also happen to be politically, you know, activist minded when it comes to like their personal opinion on different ideological situations and, you know, ideas. They hire first based on ideology, and they don't care about the actual talent coming with it. And a lot of times it's the opposite, because they discriminate against talent because the person doesn't match what they want. Ubisoft lost too many senior devs. Yeah, I think, like I said, that Ubisoft, it's too late for them to fix this.
The result of this hiring malpractice is plain to see. Companies are producing games that customers do not want and will not buy.
Think about it this way. This is a funny picture right here. This is a very funny, because we're going to talk about the Game Awards, right? So both these games, and this is very relevant, both these games are neither one up for any award other than, I believe, accessibility. Which is, again, the whole accessibility is the whole new grift. This is one of these things that I had people screeching at me on Twitter about it because they're like, well, you don't understand accessibility. I'm like, oh no. Accessibility means if you have an impairment, if you need to do things for people who are colorblind, who are hearing impaired, who are, you know, physically impaired, and you make it easier for them to play the game, that's accessibility. Shit like what you find in Dragon Age Veilguard, where they took out spiders because they don't want to have people who are arachnophobic, you know, trying to play the game. They did the same thing apparently in Call of Duty Black Ops 6. They have no spiders in the game because they don't want to have people who have arachnophobia getting triggered. Life is Strange Double Exposure, they have transphobia like warnings that'll pop up, or all sorts of like trigger warnings that'll pop up, and they call that accessibility. That has nothing to do with accessibility. Making games that customers never wanted, neither asked for. Square Enix only has Tatsuya Naruma. He's still working in the company despite the fact that he's in his 50s. Some of these guys are going to work until they're dead.
So, the solution to this is very simple. Hire your game developers based on talent, skill, and psychological suitability for the workplace. Gender, skin color, and political activism have proven that they do not contribute to a good product. It does not matter how someone identifies or what gender they are, as long as they are talented, skilled, and can contribute to a healthy working environment. That is who you should hire.
Now, here's the funniest thing about that, too. Company, Democrat, government, woke movement. It's not about the money. It's about sending the messages. Yeah, 100%, Keon. That's unfortunately the thing. It's not about... They're not worried about making money because these are not people who believe that making money is morally a good thing, which is funny because so many of them, like the Hassan Pikers of the world, make money while they pretend to be communists. Where's their inclusion? Who are arachnophilic. If you're arachnophilic, I don't want to know about it, but I see your point. No, legitimately, Dragon Age Veilguard, this is a new thing. This is like how everyone needs a safe space or everyone has like all sorts of like sensory issues now. Apparently, arachnophobia is at an all-time high because Black Ops 6, I guess, I saw somebody else post about this who actually played Call of Duty. And Dragon Age Veilguard decided to go away from having spiders in their games to not trigger anyone's arachnophobia. Like, oh my God. I mean, okay, so they did the same thing, I guess, with Grounded, where I think you can turn off or like make the big spiders look less scary or something. I don't know. You're playing a game with bugs. Bugs should look like bugs. If you're afraid of spiders, don't play it. Anyways, he went on in this video to talk about basically, do you want a DEI hire flying your plane or somebody who actually knows what they're doing? And again, very reasonable approaches. Will Ubisoft actually take this advice? Who knows? We haven't seen much proof at this point that they're smart enough to do that. Well, at this point, Mahendra, starting your own studio, while expensive and risky, for a lot of these guys is probably a better option than staying working for some faceless corporation that doesn't like you, that hates your customers, and is ultimately going to alienate people against you. So that might just be the answer for a lot of these people if they can afford it. That's a big question. Is, you know, not everybody can afford to go out on a limb and start their own freaking studio. Save Steam. Yeah, ironically, we were going to talk about that real quick here. Before we get into the Game Awards, I just want to talk about this whole Steam thing real quick because it has kind of trickled down from Steam being anti-Semitic, which is a joke, to now they're shutting down all the ad revenue on Twitch, allegedly. So this shit's gotten insane. So if anybody hasn't been paying attention, the ADL, who basically goes around the internet trying to point at things and call it anti-Semitic. You live with spider, lizard, and cockroach. Spiders, lizards, and cockroaches. Yeah, I could do okay with the lizards to an extent. The spiders, if they're not too big. I don't know about the cockroaches. Grounded's arachnophobia mode is goofy. I never turned on the arachnophobia mode. I never saw what it looked like. I just played it like twice and was like, I don't know. It's like Ark, but instead of dinosaurs, there's bugs. You know, whatever. So we've seen articles from the ADL, from PC Gamer, talk about how there's millions of examples of extremist and anti-Semitic content found on Steam based on a new platform-wide ADL analysis. Now, the crazy thing about this shit is that they wanted to use examples of people sharing Pepe the Frog, which was, again, like 55% of the time, as being anti-Semitic or white supremacist. Look, we've got a lot of people on Discord from all different parts of the world, and I'm pretty sure every one of them at some point has probably used a Pepe emoji. And I'm like, I don't think it has anything to do with white supremacism, but again, the ADL lives to point their finger at things and call it anti-Semitic. That's how they make their money, okay? Putting pressure on people. Because now you can see this article from Smash AT talking about how U.S. Senator Mark Warner wants to destroy Gabe Newell's violent extremist Steam. Now, we got freaking politicians responding to the ADL, going after Steam for existing because people have, you know, bad profile pictures, bad avatars on here, you know? Not scared of any of those bugs. For me, it has to be something that I worry about being able to actually cause harm to me, like serious harm. You have a bad experience, it killed me. That would legit be like saying, I'm scared of, you know, trees that are bigger than like, you know, 6 feet tall. So make all the trees shorter in a game or some shit. Like, give me a break. You cannot make games accessible. Again, that term that they use, accessibility wise, to people that have arachnophobia without ruining the experience for everybody else, unless you make it a toggle where people who have arachnophobia can turn off the spiders, okay? Replace them with walking bipedal versions of cazadors from it. Dude, that doesn't sound any better, okay? It really doesn't. So anyways, Warner, that reporter from the ADL, claimed that Steam harbors tens of thousands of groups allegedly promoting anti-Semitic, white supremacist, and other hateful ideologies. Let's be real, it's an overblown attempt to vilify one of the largest gaming platforms in the world, 100%, for the actions of a tiny fractions of users for the sole purpose of grandstanding and making it sound to those out of the loop that you were doing something productive as a senator. Again, that's what these assholes do. This is why it's like, I'm so sick and tired of politicians having opinions on video games, on things that they don't understand, because 99% of these guys don't have a clue when it comes to video games or pop culture or Twitter, anything that what they're talking about at all. That'd be horrifying. That's what I'm saying. Like, that wouldn't be less scary in my opinion. At least it'd be a bigger target. I gotta pick up New Vegas. The only Fallout game that I ever tried playing was 76, and I realized after the fact, I'm like, oh, this is why everyone hates this game. Like, it sucked. It was no good. But Abomination sort of horrifying. Yeah. No, there's a few things like that. I feel like I'm trying to think of the game that had the scariest looking zombie alien type things. The ones in GTFO are pretty creepy looking, not gonna lie. Bourbon, is the cat on the table? Hang on, I gotta go see if the cat's doing something. Give me a second. The dog is staring at the kitchen table like the cat's up there. Yeah, stop yelling at me. Yep, go figure. Big fat kitty was up on the table. God, he weighs like 13 pounds. You gotta stop eating so much. Racist guy from Red Dead Redemption, Undead Nightmare. See, I never played Red Dead Redemption. All right, so before we get too far off topic, what is the best Fallout game? If I was going to play one Fallout game, would it be New Vegas? Is that the one? Because I've seen people argue that it's Fallout 3, and I've seen people say that is New Vegas. So I'm kind of leaning towards New Vegas based on what I've read online. But yeah, if next year I pick up one of them, I think for me personally, it's going to be New Vegas. It's DRM free on GOG for $4. Ooh. But here's the thing about that, guys, is I don't even know if I have a GOG account. Fallout 2. Hey, Vernum, that wasn't one of the options. I said New Vegas or 3. See, here's the thing. Much like going back and playing the original Halo game, if I go too far back with a game that I've never played before, I can deal with like old graphics on games that I have fond memories of. If it's a game I've never played and the graphics are questionable, I might not enjoy it too much. You'll pick Skyrim. See, that also wasn't on the list. If we're going that far back, I'll just say Morrowind. Yeah, so it says Warner's letter conveniently ignores these pesky First Amendment protections that allow even distasteful speech to exist online. Valve is not a government entity. It has no obligation to police legal speech. So now it's trickled down from Steam a few days ago to where apparently Twitch is changing policies about speech in order to prevent losing ad revenue, okay? Because I guess that there are people reporting that they are losing as much as 80 to 90% of their ad revenue from this same time last year. So one of these major Twitch streamers apparently was like making $10,000 a day, he said, in ad revenue. That sounds way too high. I would have imagined it was like a month, but apparently it went from 10,000 down to like 3,000 or 2,000 or some shit. You like the first two Fallouts? New Vegas was more like the originals? I don't know, maybe I'll check out New Vegas. If I had all the time in the world, guys, I would go back and play every single game that I haven't played for the last 10 years, but I don't have that kind of time. So yeah, now we once again have the ADL going after Twitch. And again, I'm not, people online were like, oh, you're like a terrorist Hamas sympathizer. I'm like, no, screw terrorists, screw Hamas, and screw Twitch. That's not why I'm talking about this and why I have a problem with it. I have a problem with the ADL strong-arming people to bend the knee because they want more money. The ADL is not the good guys in this situation. Twitch isn't the good guy either. Twitch is a terrible platform. I keep waiting for them to ban me, or maybe just for me to nuke my account at some point. It's just so easy to use. That's the one thing Twitch has going for it, is it's just a very user-friendly platform. The content on it, 99% of it sucks. The platform's really nice though. So yeah, we've seen Twitch change their hateful conduct policy to prohibit the use of term Zionist to attack or demean individuals or groups, which again is dumb. I think Twitch has done so much to try to like make everyone dance around certain terms and all that. It's like, look, either let people have free speech or just shut down the platform. Yeah, basically, Mahendra, they're halfway there, dude. But then, okay, here's the thing about Twitch not enforcing their rules evenly. Twitch will say, if you're going to be showing too much of your skin, you need to have, you need to be in the hot tub or, IRL bikini stream category, whatever the hell they call it nowadays. So we have this girl that I've seen people talking about on Twitter that's a Twitch streamer. She had what was called the starfish cam. She's sitting on a plastic chair or a glass chair with the camera pointed straight up. Pretty sure you can figure out the rest, right? She didn't get banned. But VTubers whose virtual avatars had too much cleavage, too much jiggle, were getting banned for violating the policies, okay? Absolutely brain dead by Twitch. They can't evenly enforce their policies worth shit. But the ADL comes knocking, and they're gonna bend over backwards for him. And again, this is not me defending Hassan. Hassan's an idiot. Frogan is a complete piece of garbage. That chick is terrible. But it's the fact that they're only caving for the one organization, that's the ADL. Colonoscopy stream. I should do that. I should see if my gastroenterologist will do that the next time. I'm supposed to have one once a year, and my gastroenterologist moved out of town. So I don't currently know who my GI doctor is. And this is around the same time of year I'm supposed to have my yearly exam because of my Crohn's disease. So I got to figure out who I contact. Hey, Wolfrin, how's it going? Never had the chance to play Las Vegas on PS3, only played 3, 4, and 6. Then you played more than I did. I only played 76, and I got bored with it. Yeah, Mahendra, the thing is, it's a great platform as far as the functionality goes. It's shit content. That's the problem. Twitch is living on a prayer. In more ways than one, Oblivion. You had yours at the 7th? It's really funny. Somebody on Twitter was like, why is everyone sharing all information about their colonoscopies? I'm like, well, for my physical condition, it just happens. I'm supposed to have once a year, so it's just a it's quite the fresh experience. Dude, honestly, the prep sucks. The whole day of not eating, spending the whole day in the bathroom, starving, and then you lose your appetite, and then you got to drink all that terrible crap the night before. Yeah, that all sucks. But once you get the whole thing over with, you actually feel a lot better, They know exactly what to do for their audience. Yeah, Korean, here's the thing. I don't watch VTubers, not because I have any issue with them or because I think they're cringe. I like VTubers. So far, I like the idea. It seems cool. I just don't personally have any VTubers that I run into that I've sought out to watch. I know that Kirsch is a big one that people watch. There's a few of those like her, and she does great work as far as investigating, like Savvy does on Twitter and all that. I just don't really have any VTubers that I pay attention to. It's just not my thing. So yeah, this has led to now the blame game going around on Twitch between Asmongold and Hassan and all of Hassan's little lackeys, basically blaming, I guess, Asmongold and Destiny for the ad revenue drop because, of course, Asmongold's been pointing out the hypocrisy of Twitch, how they have uneven enforcement policies. But you got Hassan over here actually interviewing, honest-to-God terrorists on his streams, and he wants to blame Asmongold for the reason that Twitch is having ad revenue decreasing right now. Why all these... There's 10 different major companies who have pulled their advertising on Twitch, which is hilarious because the ADL went after Twitter after Elon Musk bought it. And all the advertisers that they lost initially, like Disney and I think NBC and all these other ones, are starting to come back to Twitter. Despite the fact that the ADL went after Twitter and said, oh, you have all this anti-Semitism on your platform. At this point now, the advertisers are like, you know what? All these people that said they were going to leave Twitter, they're still there. All these new users are on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, Twitch allows 18. Yeah. Well, not explicit, Mahendra, but it's pretty damn close. And what I have noticed over the last few years of covering Twitch is the fact that they are very relaxed when it comes to certain types of streamers doing certain types of things where they only give them a 3-day ban, a 5-day ban, a 7-day ban. And even if it's a permanent ban, the women like Amaranth, the big ones, the ones that make them a lot of money, they can get banned 7 times permanently, and they always come back. They always let them back on the platform because it makes them too much money. Twitch hasn't made Amazon a dime They have done nothing but lose money for Amazon for years. The thing is, because there are certain, there's the whales that actually make money for Twitch. They keep them despite continuously, doing things that go against terms of service because they need them. Oh, Blue Sky, yeah. Dude, it's going to go through the same situation that Mastodon did. Everybody fled Twitter to go to Mastodon, and Mastodon, does it even exist anymore? Look, when Twitter really took the shit, like back in 2020, 2021, I went and joined Parler and nuked my Twitter account, and Parler was fantastic. Parler was great when it first launched. After 2 weeks, when they pulled it off the Google and the Apple stores and you couldn't use it anymore, they completely killed the platform. But initially, Parler was a very strong contender to what Twitter had become. But again, they didn't like the competition, so Google and Apple got together and said, yeah, we're going to kill Parler, and once again say it's like anti-Semitic or whatever. Oh, Twitch should allow 18 and up ads on their website. At this point now, I was very much against the idea of Twitch doing like an 18 and up version of the website. At this point, who cares? Just do it. And say anything that's not family friendly, you kick to the other platform. That doesn't mean that if you're on the 18 and up one, you have to do explicit stuff, but just move everybody controversial to one side of it. If people want to go behind the paywall or behind the age verification system to go there, fine. And people who just, play video games, put them back on the regular, like more or less family friendly one. And I don't mean like family friendly 100%. Obviously, there's ways you could do, nuance to that and everything. But yeah, Twitch has really screwed themselves, to be honest. Aren't 99% of 18 and up ads a scam? I would assume so. Avernum, I assume everything's a scam these days. When I first got reached out to by a couple of these companies that have asked me to test the Mono company from China, they sent me a piece of audio control equipment that has yet to work because they're still working on the software for it. They sent me a microphone I've got in my kids' room to test out. When I first got contacted by them, I thought it was a scam. Same thing when Instant Gaming contacted me. Same thing when this company that sent these controllers for me to review, Beitong, when they contacted me, I was like, okay, it's probably a scam. So I was very hesitant to reply. I'd even contact their social media accounts and be like, yo, this person named blah, blah, blah contacted me. Can you verify this is a real person and not a scam? I just assume everything's a scam. Because the last thing I want to do is click something, have my information stolen, my account's hacked, lose money, lose access to things. So yeah, I just assume everything's a scam these days. Cheddar and bacon. Where do you see those at? I could go for that. Most of YouTube's ads are mobile game. Oh my God. Dude, Avernum, here's the thing. I don't even click on ads, and it has nothing to do. People are like, oh, it has to do with your search history. They show me shit on YouTube ads all the time that never in a million years have I searched for, or neither would I click on or whatever. And half the time they're shilling some mobile game that they have some half naked waifu, and there's it's very suggestive. And you go, who in their right mind would click on that? Who wants the virtual girlfriend? It's insane. You suspect they're playing the subsidiary profit shell game, probably shifting profit to Amazon Web Services? I don't know. I honestly, it would really depend on what it costs to keep Twitch running. Versus, again, because look, the thing about Twitch is it's the ad revenue split, the subscription revenue split. They make a lot more money off their streamers than a site like Kick does. Or I think to the same extent YouTube. I think YouTube, I keep more money than I would if I was making money through Twitch at all. So that being said, I don't know that they're making as much as you would assume. By PlayStation Trophy Hunter, his personal data was leaked by PlayStation employee. Dude, hasn't Sony also had a lot of personal information hacks and stuff over the last few years? I'm pretty sure the entire Sony infrastructure got hacked at one point, didn't it? But yeah, so that's where we are with Twitch. The entire platform is melting down, all because, once again, the ADL decided to go after people. And here's the thing. I don't care if the ADL wants to go after Hassan. I don't care if the ADL wants to go after Frogan. I don't care if the ADL wants to go after everybody that it labels as anti-Semitic individually. The issue I have is just like what they're doing to Steam, they've gone after Twitch and said, oh no, your platform is the problem, not these specific people. Like, I am sick and tired of people judging an entire platform or entire group of people based on the actions of a few, you know? You could also see it being a money pit. Yeah, I don't think that there's a way that Twitch is actually making money. I don't know. He got scam calls and asked for a credit card. Oh my, that's bad. See, I don't, half the time when it's like scam or spam calls, I don't even answer my phone. Hey, Lugia. Yeah, this is the thing. I got into this argument with this guy that was like this this pro-Israel America. He said this AI with an American flag and Israeli flag account. And it's like, look, I'm not one of these people that thinks that Jewish people are the scum of the earth. I'm also not one of these people who's afraid to ask questions about certain involvement in certain events. I like to just keep an open mind. So for me personally, when an account is like an Israeli shill calling me a Hamas supporter when I couldn't give two shits about the situation in Gaza other than I'm tired of people blowing each other up and I'm tired of our money going there, and I get called a terrorist sympathizer, I'm like, dude, just because I'm saying I don't like the ADL going after an entire platform for the actions of a few people doesn't mean that I agree with what the people said. But again, there's no nuance these days, unfortunately. Didn't they go after PewDiePie? It wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. Okay, PewDiePie, they labeled a Nazi, I think, for something that he said or did. I don't know. It was the same way with, like, Dankula, how he taught the pug to do the Nazi salute. And he had to freaking go to court over that, and that was a whole big thing that lasted for years. And there are still people who say, oh, you're the Nazi pug guy. It's like, would I make that joke? Probably not. It's a joke. It is what it is. So, now what we have is this... Oh yeah, Game Awards. Okay. So, sorry it's taken so long to get to this. I was planning on getting through the first two portions of the stream a little bit faster, but it's taken a little while. We have leaked messages from Jeff Keighley exposing the Game Awards' true agenda, courtesy of Smash JT, who got an anonymous email from somebody that was sent by Jeff Keighley's people. Oh, he reacted to a Hitler video as a joke. See, here's the thing. I find memes funny. If Dank did that video now, he'd be praised by Hassan, which is hilarious too, because he would be missing the fact that Dank isn't actually a Nazi. He'd be missing the fact that it's like Dank isn't promoting anything. He thought it would be a funny gag to freak his wife out, his girlfriend out, by teaching her dog to do the Heil Hitler thing. It's like he wasn't actually promoting like white supremacy. But yeah, exactly. Hassan would be like, based. Oh, Blithian, you're good, man. It's all good. If you guys have the patience to listen to me rambling, we got all night, theoretically speaking. Although I do have to get up early-ish tomorrow because I need to take my freaking van to the Ford dealer, have them look at the door because some asshole decided to try to break into it a couple weeks ago, and it's been messing with the door sensor. When I drive the car, it thinks the door isn't shut. Have to turn off the inside lights so they stay on. My door dings every 5 minutes if I come to a stop. It's pretty annoying. It's unbelievable. Remember when the word Nazi was not thrown around and said so casually? Dude, I'll do you one better, Korean. Isn't it funny that they don't understand that not every German that was part of the military in World War II was a Nazi? You got all night. You love rants. Yeah, Dank is a Wolverine NPC. So it's just crazy because there's a lot. Despite the fact that Europe is a small place relatively to like the North American continent, Germany's a big place. It's a lot of people, millions of people, right? And people don't understand the nuance that with World War II, the Nazi party, sure, they were the reigning party that led up to World War II. But not everybody who was part of the Wehrmacht or the Kriegsmarine or the Luftwaffe, my German's rusty, I can't remember what the pilots were called, the Air Force. But not everybody that served in the military was a Nazi. Sure, they were part of the soldiers, part of the army, part of the military, but it's like you label everybody like in an Indiana Jones movie. You know, he sees soldiers and he says, oh, Nazis. I want to go back in the 40s and actually hear what Americans or Europeans said when they saw a German army. Did they say, oh, I see Nazis? Or did they say, oh, there's German tanks, there's German foot soldiers, German infantry? Because this idea that we label everybody that was a German back in the 40s as a Nazi is idiotic. It's like, were lots of the military probably Nazis? I'm sure. I'm sure they probably were. But again, terminology matters. Hey, Geek, how's it going? Sorry, it's just one of those things that irritates the shit out of me, you know? Those same people are the same ones to say all Japanese people are bad because of World War II in the Pacific when the Navy and Imperial Army disliked one another. Dude, there were Germans who fought against the SS, you know? Kraut. I don't have any German ancestry, I don't believe. My mom's side is half Sicilian. Well, so I'm a quarter Sicilian, 8th Irish, 8th Dutch for my mom's side, and the other half for my dad's side, I have no idea. You know? The Jerrys, is that what they call them? Either join a forced labor or face. Well, and that's the thing, Avernum, that's the same with a lot of like, go back and watch that movie, Enemy at the Gates. It was Enemy at the Gates that was about the snipers that had Jude Law and Ed Harris in it. And the beginning of the movie is like the siege of Moscow or whatever. And these Russian soldiers are being thrown to the wolves, essentially. These officers are like, okay, one of you pick up a rifle, one of you pick up the ammo. When the guy with the rifle dies, you pick up the rifle and keep shooting. If you retreat, we're going to shoot you ourselves. It's like, it was absolutely barbaric, guys. This wasn't meant to be like, okay, the way I look at it in World War II, half the people fighting were the bad guys. It wasn't just, you know, one side, oh, the Nazis were evil. It's like, no, the communists were evil too. There was a lot of evil in the world across the entire spectrum at that point. Oh, the German technology, dude, I love, especially growing up with limited computer games. There was one called Jane's World War II Flight Simulator, where you could basically do your little scenarios, sandbox scenarios, you know, with German airplanes that were so cool. The German fighter jets were fantastic. Yeah, Enemy at the Gates. I don't remember loving that movie. Once again, Ron Perlman, despite his freaking TDS, Ron Perlman was probably like the highlight of that movie. His character was pretty funny. Yeah, Mahendra, Operation Paperclip, you know? People calling every German a Nazi. It's just, I despise the generalization and the lack of knowledge. It's not just like you could honestly say, well, the Germans were the bad guys. Okay, if you want to make that generalization, fine. We were fighting the Germans, therefore, from the American perspective or whatever Western nation you're from, the Germans were the bad guys, okay? If you want to label them entirely as a whole. But it's the not understanding that the German Wehrmacht wasn't the same thing as the Nazi Party. It'd be like saying that the U.S. Army is the Democrat Army, or now that Trump's elected, it's the Republican Army. It's not. It's the American Army. It's the American military. It's not a political party, you know? There's one German officer with several Wehrmacht soldiers, depending on the high value, importance, target, president, or dude, there was one of the last battles. This is what I love about Sabaton. Sabaton, my Swedish metal bands. Love me some Swedish metal. I geek out when I listen to Sabaton. But that song, The Last Battle, I think it was, about how this German officer and his men allied with a U.S. like small squad of guys to defend a castle against SS soldiers. Like, not every German was a Nazi, you know? Not everybody in the military agreed with the leading political party of their country. Guess what? There are people who, for the last 8 years, or the last 4 years, haven't liked Biden, who are in the army. My brother, you know, has been in the army for 4 years. He didn't like Trump, but he also didn't like Biden. So it's like, he worked for people he didn't like for 8 years, you know? Yeah, well, I hate generalizations. As much as I have done it in my life, I'm at a point in life where I think people need to start using more nuanced perspectives without being afraid of being called names. Like, I couldn't give a shit if somebody calls me X, Y, or Z. It's like we need to start having nuance and being able to talk about things even if they're difficult to talk about. Like the cavalry at the end of the movie. Well, yeah, technically, I mean, didn't the Americans spend more time fighting the Japanese in the later part of the war than the Germans? I mean, sure, American soldiers were involved in D-Day and a lot of conflicts as well, but the British, if I'm not mistaken, the British and Italians would have been fighting Germany in Africa based on, yeah. Oh yeah, individuals, exactly. We're going to the history lesson. I don't know, Mahendra. I'm starting to doubt half of what we've been taught as history. Again, there's that line up the beginning of Braveheart that history is written by those who have hanged heroes. It's it's very, very questionable. Yes, that was the Canadian Parliament that they applauded the Nazi soldier. It's pretty crazy stuff that's been going on the last 4 years. Not gonna lie, it's been pretty weird shit. But yeah, technically you're not wrong there. We definitely got in late. I still question whether or not America really had any real, I don't know. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because that's a whole nother ball of wax I don't feel like opening tonight. Let's talk about the Game Awards because that's what we're here to talk about. So anyways, Jeff Keighley has been trying to trademark the name Game Award. He's been trying to essentially keep anybody else from offering an alternative to the corporate slop. And again, we've talked about in videos before how much money people pay to have their trailers shown at these award shows, right? It's absolutely mind-blowing. We're talking Super Bowl level almost price range. $250,000 for like a 1 or a 2 minute trailer at this event. Absolutely bonkers amount of money that they're charging. So of course, he doesn't want anybody cutting in on his market, right? Now, the funny thing is, people watch streamers like Vera Dark watch the Game Awards. I don't watch the Game Awards live stream. If I'm going to watch anybody react to it, I'll watch like Vera or a different streamer if there's somebody covering it. Very rarely would I ever sit down and watch it myself. It's all to hear the commentary on it, so the only reason I tune in. But people still, for some reason, give these guys some form of credibility. They think that their opinion, for some weird reason, is worth, listening to. But yeah, you can see right here where they have this application trying to file a patent on the words Game Award, right? It's absolutely insane. If the Japanese didn't pull the U.S. into the war, the world would be a different place. The U.S. had its own race issues in the 40s, probably didn't give a single F by Europe back then. Yeah, and again, but see, here's the problem with this conversation. That's why I said I can't get into this too much right now because it goes down like too many rabbit holes. Avernum, I feel like the U.S. allowed itself in a way to be dragged into the war. But again, like I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole. Well, Korean Cowboy, the thing is, Wukong's not even up for Game of the Year, so it doesn't even have a chance. Sorry, not Wukong, Stellar Blade. But I think they're in the same category as far as like action game. We'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, this is just the scumbaggery that this guy is doing, trying to like keep the competition at bay. And so that Park Place article says the Game Awards rejects woke titles with official nominations. Is Jeff Keighley feeling heat from Stuttering Craig's The Real Game Awards? Again, pointing out that he is once again reacting to fan reactions. If you look at like the list of the games that they have, there's no Dragon Age, there's no Star Wars Outlaws, there's no Concord. I mean, there wasn't going to be Concord. However, if the game had been a big success, you can bet your ass Concord to be right up there with the rest of these, right? Instead, we have Astrobot, which from people who played it all said it's fantastic. Black Myth Wukong, which is great. Shadow of the Erdtree, which is a DLC, which I don't understand putting a DLC up for Game of the Year. There are people who, the last Legend of Zelda came out, Tears of the Kingdom. They wanted to claim it was a DLC, and so it shouldn't be up for Game of the Year. It's a completely separate game, even though it's a continuation of Breath of the Wild. But even at that point, people argued, it's practically a DLC, why is it up for Game of the Year? Then you have Shadow of the Erdtree, an actual DLC, which is fine. I played, probably 20, 30 hours of it. It's good. Definitely, in my opinion, shouldn't be up there for Game of the Year. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, okay. Metaphor, okay. So 4 of these 6 games I understand. Balatro, I don't get. It's like a card game from an indie developer. Even if it's a good game, today is the first time I've even heard about it. I had never heard of this game before. At all. 90% is judged by jury and 10%. Yeah, the vote doesn't matter. The vote does not matter at all. And as I just saw your comment, I 100% endorse what you just said. Like hardcore, No holds barred. I completely endorse what you just said. Let's see, Dragon Age Veilguard participation trophy. Dude, we're gonna go look at those because some of these are a freaking joke, okay? So, yeah, here's the thing. I'm already gonna go out here and say, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say that Metaphor is gonna win. I'm gonna grab a bottle of water and then I'm gonna say why. Hang on. Yeah, it's a poker game, essentially, Mahendra. I think, I can't remember who said that on Discord. It's basically just a card game. That's the plates on the table rattling when I walk by. I went and got a bottle of water. Oh. Yeah, but there's extra noise. DLCs being allowed is such a cheat. If so, we should have got Ghost of Tsushima, Ishii Island. I mean, yeah, that's another thing. Also, didn't Ghost of Tsushima get snubbed the year that we had it? I feel like the year that Ghost of Tsushima was up for Game of the Year, didn't it lose out to Last of Us 2 or one of the Horizon games or something? Pretty sure it did. Yeah, you still working? No. Okay, I'll probably be wrapped up here in the next 20 minutes. Metaphor for Game of the Year, please. Hey, Maki. Well, here's the thing. The reason I say Metaphor is going to win is because it is like the safe horny of all these games we've talked about. That's just the way the media has portrayed it. Because in defense of Metaphor and attacking, again, the chuds or the gamers, people are all like, the media is all like, well, all these chuds don't like woke games, but Metaphor is super woke. And it's like, I haven't heard from anybody who played the game or loved the game that they thought it was woke. So again, it is once again the games media looking at Metaphor as of all these options, the one that they're willing to reward gamers who enjoyed the game with is Metaphor. The Last of Woke Part 2, yeah. Yeah, no, expansions should have their own category. They should never be up for Game of the Year. And I used to be a little bit indifferent on that. Now, I'm 100% on board that DLC should never be up for Game of the Year, ever. 20-minute bill. Hey, Desert, how's it going, dude? Should have a category and perhaps one for other types of DLC.
The best way to show someone how much you care. It is like this tangible thing that you can point to and say, hey, man, I love you. This many dollars.
2020's Game of the Year was garbage.
I got very upset when they nominated Marvel vs. Capcom fighting category. The nominating a re-release game.
Yeah, honestly, nominating remakes for Game of the Year, and thanks for the 5, dude. Appreciate it, Lugia. You're always awesome. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about like remasters for Game of the Year. Like, okay, I've been dying on this hill that I want Ocarina of Time remake for years now. People are like, oh, well, Ocarina of Time has a remake. I'm like, no. I mean a full remake of the entire game officially from Nintendo. I wanted that for the 35th anniversary of Zelda. Hopefully for the 40th anniversary, we'll get a actual remaster from Nintendo. It's probably not going to happen. The only reason you're taking my opinion seriously is because his beard is starting to grow back. Dude, this is just 3 weeks. Hang on, let me see. Well, okay, I haven't used the face cam since the shave. So, yeah, not too bad for 3 weeks, right? By the end of the month, it'll be fully back. Yeah, I don't know. It's a really tough thing, especially with remasters. I just don't know that I think remasters or DLC or remakes should actually win. But who knows? At least with a remake or a remaster, you're going through the whole game and revamping it. A DLC, it's like you're just building off something that was already there. So that being said, these are your Game of the Year contenders, right? I 100% believe Metaphor is going to win because it is the acceptable one from the games media because they've already used it to attack gamers and say, well, clearly you guys are full of shit because Metaphor is woke and we like woke games and you say you don't. So, N64 graphics are hard to read. Yeah, I feel like if I went back and played it now, I would probably go, oof, this is rough, Hey, Master of the TDS in the house. How's it going, dude? What are you thinking about the Game of the Year nominees, man? 3DS remake fixed that, but it's been delisted. Like I said, apparently somebody did like a modded version or a from the ground up version of like part of Ocarina of Time, and people are like, oh yeah, you can download it. I don't think it's the entire game, you know? So now if you go to their website, this is the funniest part. They will die and eat all their depression pills in one go before they let Black Myth Wukong win. There's no question. Despite the fact, we talked about this, Star Wars Outlaws, not up for Game of the Year. Dragon Age Veilguard, not up for Game of the Year. And this has really rubbed people the wrong way. Polygon has this article that says there was one big snub in the Game Awards nomination. Dragon Age the Veilguard, a game engineered to succeed at the Game Awards, did not. Engineered to succeed. Now, if this is them saying, I've not previewed this article, if this is them saying that apparently, you know, this game was designed to appease a certain subset of people and it came up short, then I would agree with them. If this is them saying that it got robbed, piss off, I don't care. A DLC being nominated is stupid. That's your thoughts on it. You know, I agree. I think we're honestly we're in agreement on that. Do we get to vote? I think Mahendra said we get 10% of the votes. That's it. Yeah, Stellar Blade is not up for Game of the Year. I mean, some people are going to be mad about that. I could understand being mad about that. These are the ones we have. And again, Metaphor is going to win. I would say Metaphor, maybe Astrobot. The thing is, Astrobot is only designed to really appease like Sony PlayStation, longtime fans. Whereas Metaphor, like I said, has the media already on its side. So that I don't see this being one of these things where any game but Metaphor has a chance. What I find funny, though, we've talked about this a while, best narrative. If anybody who's here, I think Burner was, I'm not sure if Oblivion was here for my entire playthrough of Hellblade 2. They put it in this category for best narrative. This is one of those things where I'm like, I almost wish it wasn't a category. Because it's like you're saying, okay, it wasn't good enough to be the best game. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't the best action game. It didn't have the best like graphics. It didn't have the best sound. We just think it personally had the best story, you know? Is it terrible you haven't played any of these games? Dude, I honestly, I play like a tenth of the games that are up for nominations. You knew this morning or yesterday when the news site started recanting their high scores, that Veilguard wasn't going to be Game of the Year. I'm surprised it wasn't even nominated, to be honest. All that shilling for nothing. Yeah. So, I played through Senua Saga, and it was one of the worst games I've played lately. Now, the funny thing is, I loved Hellblade 1. I loved the first game, okay? Bad internet connection? Mine or yours, Mahendra? If I'm having stuttering issues, guys, let me know. Hellblade 2 was such a deviation from the original game that, sure, both games were walking simulators. The difference is the first game, the story was so much better. The psychological components, the voices in the head that you're hearing were very impactful. It was a great game as far as like the psychological aspects go, right? You watch someone play Hellblade 2 and you honestly love their reaction to the game. I hated every minute of it, Korean. I hated every minute of having to play that game, okay? It was a terrible game. From the beginning to the end, it ran really poorly on my PC, which sure, my PC is a little bit older. It needs some updating. Okay, there's parts I need to swap out. My graphics card needs to get updated. But every other game I play on my PC is fine. Hellblade 2 is you paying to watch 5 hours of cutscenes. Not just cutscenes, but they chose to go with the quick time event, interactive cutscene type crap. And I hated every time you had to do it. It's like, why am I making my character crawl through a cutscene with my keyboard instead of them just doing it themselves, you know? You've actually beta tested and spoke with some devs involved in some of the favorite games, but never played Black Myth. Master, if you are, I'm just going to call you Master from now on. No. TDS, if you have any experience playing, like, I'm not going to say Souls games because Black Myth Wukong is not like a Souls game, but you could say it's like Souls adjacent or God of War, those kind of games. You'll enjoy it. It's a good game. You don't even see how it could be up for best narrative. Because this game pleased the media. This is what I'm looking at here. A lot of these games that are up for these awards are ones that the media has approved. Hellblade 2 is a game that the media has approved, okay? Nobody else enjoyed it except for the critics and the games journalists. It's odd how Dustborn's not here. Dustborn was a small game. You got to remember, Dustborn is not a game that had a whole lot of money put into it, you know? You'll never play Black Myth for an entirely different principle. I mean, the thing about Black Myth is you do have that component that is, you know, funded by the CCP, and that does rub people the wrong way. So I understand that aspect of it. But again, if you go back to best game direction, you still see the same 6 games on here, which is really weird. Which one was that Stellar Blade is up for? Best score in music? Yeah, so Stellar Blade only got best score in music and best fighting or action game, I think. Where are we at here? Narrative, score, audio design, mobile. Who cares? Best mobile game. Who gives a shit about that? Best action game. Here we go. Yeah. So for best action game, you've got Helldivers 2, Warhammer Space Marines 2, Stellar Blade, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and Black Myth Wukong. This one, I have a feeling they will probably give to Helldivers 2 or Space Marine 2. Mainly because of the fact, I'd lean to Helldivers 2 because there was so much controversy over it, but it had such a large player base. I still don't see them giving Stellar Blade either award. There's just no way. Yeah, we were talking about his video connecting everything to Ubisoft. I think I showed that on my last stream. You beat Zelda's Skyward Sword and mouse and keyboard, but you hate motion control. I don't like motion control for anything. That is true, Tekla. It's just the fact that the game itself has connections again to the CCP and all that, which is unavoidable. There's nothing you can do about that. Space Marine 2 had better narrative than most of these. I didn't play Space Marine 2. I have a copy of Helldivers 2. I've played it one time. I'm going to try to play it again maybe this Friday or next. I got to play Ghost of Tsushima one of these next couple of Fridays. So we just agreed not all Germans were Nazis, but you won't play Wukong because communist bad. Oh no, see, I've played Wukong. I played Wukong despite the fact that it was partially funded by the CCP. And my argument to that is the fact that we need developers in the West to realize that those are the kind of games that people need to play, that people want to play. The funny thing that I find about like games like this, for example, Space Marine 2 does have the baggage of being attached to the CEO of Saber Interactive, who agreed with Asmongold on that whole YouTube video thing when he left that comment saying we need to get games that are less political, make games that people want to play, all that shit. So I feel like Space Marine 2 doesn't stand a chance. I think that also kept it out of the category of Game of the Year. Think about it this way. Let's remove 2 of these games, all right? There's no question that Astrobot, for people who played it, was a fantastic game. They sold a bunch of copies. They made a great game. Everyone loved it. Okay. Black Myth Wukong sold 20 million copies or more. Certainly, it's definitely the top contender in my opinion. Final Fantasy Rebirth, I could understand. Same with Metaphor, okay? Because the new Black Myth Wukong was a good investment. Yeah, I need to get a copy of Journey to the West. I don't think I've ever read it. I need. There are so many books. I've read a lot of books in the last couple of years, and there's more I got to get caught up on. Make gaming great again. Somebody has a hat. I think. I'm not going to say who I saw wearing that hat because he had some allegations against him not too long ago. The doc. So, if you remove Balatro and I hope I'm saying that right, and Shadow the Erd Tree from this list, you could put Space Marine 2 in here and Stellar Blade, and you would have a much more complete list of games that gamers actually play. If you did that, I think that this would be a fantastic, like straight across the board year for Game of the Year, right? Is there a category of winning where no one wins? Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of how it feels sometimes. I think that category would be best mobile game. Best ongoing. See, there you go. What about DLC for best ongoing? Shadow the Erd Tree should be in here. They've also got Helldivers 2 in here for some reason. Journey to the West is basically Dragon Ball. But see, I don't watch anime. Worst character designs of all time. No, Dragon Age Velguard I don't think has a single award other than I think it's Games for Impact. Let me see here. Where is that one? Games for Impact. No, Dragon Age Velguard isn't even in here. So here's the funny thing. Yeah, I'll get a copy of Journey to the West at some point. Wait, what do we replace with Dragon Age Veilguard? Are we talking about like Astrobot maybe? Dude, there's no way that Veilguard should be in Game of the Year. Not if we're being honest about it. For shits and giggles, maybe. Yeah, it made an impact, but not enough to be on this list. So, you got Tales of Kenzera Zao, okay? A game which is arguably a decent game, but it definitely had issues given that it was attached to Sweet Baby Inc., and there was a lot of controversy. So, Son Goku means Son Wukong. Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting. Then you've got, once again, we talked about Hellblade 2. So again, for anybody who hasn't watched a playthrough of Hellblade 2 or hasn't played through it personally, Hellblade 1, you go from a woman that is trying to recover her lost love from the depths of hell and travels through the psychological torment to get there, and at the end of the game has like a psychotic break. You don't know where, everything ends up. It's just a fantastic game. Second game, completely opposite.
Are the best way to show someone how much you care.
I gotta mute the beginning of that alert. It's just too much, too loud.
Man, I love you. This many dollars worth.
I heard that Black Myth Wukong was nominated because they did not want the same mistake as Hogwarts Legacy.
Ah.
No recognition.
That could be, Lugia, and thanks again for the 5, dude. I appreciate you. That very well could be. It could be a situation where they realize that if they don't do something, if they completely ignore it, that's going to piss a lot of people off and maybe drive people away the next year. Last year was blazing with great games. Assassin's Creed 6, Baldur's Gate 3, 6, Assassin's Creed 6? You mean Mirage? Is that what you're talking about? Islands in the Sinking Archipelago of the Industry? Yeah. Dragon's Dogma 2 should be Game of the Year nominee. Was Dragon's Dogma 2 earlier this year, or was that the end of last year? I didn't play it, so I can't remember when it came out. I think that was the end of last year. Has that all been the same year? God, this has been a long year. They should unironically make a category of games that sunk their studios. Dustborn, Concord, Kenzera Zao, Suicide Squad, Star Wars Veilguard. You're forgetting Shadow Gambit? Is that the name of that one? It was a pirate game that completely tanked. It was a Sweet Baby game. They got the studio shut down. Armored Core 6, thank you. I could not... I'm looking at AC6 and I'm like, what the hell, man? Oh, man, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, you just made me laugh by the way you put that, by the way. Fuck you on, man. Wukong and Baldur's Gate, yeah. Impact category, it feels like it was created just to give an award to a progressive game. That's exactly what it was. So it's all games. Okay, you got to remember, I've talked about this before, especially with Double Exposure here, Life is Strange, a game that I know Mahendra's played, the original ones, and he's complained about the fact that they've completely changed the story. They've gone like super woke from what was traditionally a progressive game to where now they are like massively woke. These games have all hit some sort of like ideological check mark, right? So from these three here on the right, you've got African representation, you've got strong independent women here, and in Double Exposure, you've got trans and LGBT stuff. So these 3 out of 6 are only in this grouping because of the ideological leanings and the intent behind them. This Neva one, I swear I've seen before, and I think it's because it also has a... I'm not going to sign in. Give me a break. Imagine signing up for this shit. Oh my god. Go back. Here we go. Games for Impact. Where did they go? I want to say this Neva one has an African American or some sort of like dark skinned protagonist, female protagonist. Indica, I have no idea. I've never heard of this game. Looks strange. Closer, The Distance, again, I don't know, but it looks like artsy fartsy shit. So, you didn't like it? Yeah. Last game of the year you ignored, Hogwarts Legacy, like it doesn't exist. You know, the thing is, I've actually been looking at picking up Hogwarts Legacy for a while now, but by the time I pick that game up, they're probably going to be on to their sequel. Saldev didn't need Sweet Baby to teach him how to be black. That was the weirdest thing too, Tekla. And he said, okay, so there was the funniest exchange on Twitter. Let me see if I can find it real quick for you guys, because this shit cracked me up. I don't know if he was honestly offended or if this was like him being like, kind of like playful, if you will, with Whoa, why is everything reversed? That's so weird. My Twitter on my second monitor, everything's on the opposite sides. What is going on? Huh. Okay, well, where's bookmarks at? This is freaking me out. Holy shit. Okay, something's not working. I'll just go Twitter from right here. I think I got Twitter. Yeah, so let me see. Where was it at? Grums has this right here that says, Zhao has received a nomination for Games for Impact from the Game Awards at the Game Awards at the Zhao the Game. And then Smash JT down here is like, is that the game where the main character throws a spear? Abubakar Salim chimed back in and said, I'm going to find you. I'm like, I don't know if this is him just playing along, like acting mad or something, or if he legitimately is pissed at Smash JT for saying this. Because again, there was that YouTuber that came out and called it Spear Chucker Studios, which again, offensive term, I get it. Kind of funny, kind of edgy, whatever. But I want to know about this interaction here. Like, was this Abubakar just like laughing it off? Was he actually pissed off? If this was him legitimately being like, oh, I'm going to find you, man, and you know, whatever, just kind of playful banter, then I've got hope for this dude that maybe when he makes a game again in the future, he won't fall to feeling like he needs to hire writers to teach him how to be black. Like you said, this is a man who has a father who was an immigrant, where he should be able to go into his cultural roots, his identity, without hiring some, Canadians to teach him how to be black, to teach him how to make an authentic game, you know? I know someone who watched every single in cinema movie revealed in the last 5 years. He gave a 1 out of 10 overall. Neva has a black protagonist. Yeah. Life is Strange 5, a woke college professor secretly wants to trans his students, and you play as an ally of the professor fighting to keep the bigoted parents. Dude, that would not surprise me at this point. That would not shock me one bit. Wait for the Hogwarts Legacy director cut. See, I did that with Ghost of Tsushima. I have the director's cut now, but now I'm like, God, where do I even start? This game's going to take me forever to get through. Sweet Baby should be nominated for Game of the Year. Why the hell not at this point? Saying that he clipped him chucking a spear and he's done. See, Tekla, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that he honestly is a good egg, that he's going to just kind of like figure out how to navigate this without, going too far one way or the other, and just like, hey, the first game failed. I shouldn't have gone with Sweet Baby Inc. Second game he comes out with, maybe it'll be a big hit. Who knows? I'd like to think that there's a redemption arc in there, because I don't think the issue was that Zhao was, an African game with an African protagonist. I just think it was a game that wasn't made for an audience that had any interest in it, But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, this Games for Impact crap, this is basically like the miscongeniality of freaking, pageants. Best fighting game, we already talked about, I think. Oh, no, sorry, Yeah, what about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero? Dude, why is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero not up for Game of the Year? I know it's not for everybody. I didn't play it. I'm not a big Dragon Ball guy. And sure, it's like a fighting game, but that game should be in here instead of Bellatra. Like, come on. Like, for real. As big impact in the game industry, yeah. Well, I mean, I think they've made the biggest impact in the gaming industry. They've certainly caused the biggest downfall. They're responsible, not Sweet Baby Inc. on their own, but all of the DEI shit, the consulting companies, they collectively are responsible for a lot of the shit that we're in. It's kind of like how you can blame Hassan for Twitch in some capacity melting down, or for the ADL going after him, but he's just one small piece of the puzzle. Just like Sweet Baby Inc., these companies are not the only problem. Like I said, you go back to Master of the TDS's video on it, talking about how all of this trickles back to Ubisoft in one way or another. They courted this audience of people that came to their company, that they all kind of agreed on the same politics, and then they all went their own separate ways and made their own companies, and they all infiltrated everything. So it's not just one situation where you can point to one thing and say, yes, if we get rid of this one thing, everything's going to be solved. Like, Trump getting elected is not going to solve all this overnight. Wokeness is never going to go away. None of it's ever going to go away. It's just going to depend on who's in charge, what the customers are actually putting up with. That's going to affect how much of it you have to see on a daily basis. People are just going to buy like Sea Stars. I mean, yeah, people will look, I've spent more money this year with games that launch. Like, I bought the Elden Ring DLC at launch. Black Myth Wukong at launch, things that I never would previously do. Because at this point, I want to put my money where my mouth is when it comes to supporting companies that actually care about their customers. And how do we teach the current, AAA studios to make better games if they don't see customers spending money on things that they actually want? Modern audiences, please take the hint. 100%. Best impactful gaming event of 2024, Gamergate 2. Yeah, where's our honorable mention? Huh? Like, I get it. I'm not gonna get top streamer of the year for Gamergate 2. I mean, Hypnotics got that locked up. You got guys like Smash JT for videos. You got everyone's got. There's these guys that are like the top dogs, but where's their honorable mentions for like Gamergate? Like, come on. I think Gamergate 2 is going to be the thing that actually helps push the industry back in the right direction more than Gamergate 1 ever did, because clearly Gamergate 1 didn't succeed in fixing the games industry. Okay, so one of my longtime buddies on here, one of my mods, plays a lot of Deadlock. He got me into the alpha, beta, whatever you want to call it. The thing about Deadlock is apparently they're getting into like the LGBT trans crap also, which is fine if you have trans characters. It's just a matter of how you approach it, I guess. I don't know. Oh, NS, you didn't buy it at launch? Yeah, but you've probably finished it and I haven't finished it yet, so it's blasphemy for both of us, I guess. First being the name, because if you search Tales for, his game will never be first to appear. The second with the genre, platformers are ridiculously oversaturated. Wait. I mean, look, that is the thing. If you're going to make a game like that, especially like the Metroidvania side-scrolling type, it's just tough. It's a tough market to get into. Just SBI nonsense, which doesn't help at all. Yeah, I mean, people like me, people like everybody else, we caught on to the fact that it was in collaboration. Look, he's the only person out of all these companies that actually started a company with Kim Belair, with David Bedard, okay? Nobody else did that. Now, he had his reasons. He's like, well, we thought it'd be the smartest thing for all these reasons to have a mobile workshop of narrators to design the game, so it would be easy, so we had a company established. But then he left the company, so good on him, right? All right, Mahendra, take it easy. Not to mention they didn't bother to set up regional pricing either. Well, okay, Avernum, before we get all done here, one of the things I will say, that was not Abubakar's fault at all, but it definitely didn't help the game, was all of the shills. And there was, because it became a racial issue where you had the shills that also happened to be African American or black of some ethnic, background. It turned into a social media pissing contest where you had these black creators, these black shills, that were saying how great the game was, how many copies they're going to gift, how they just think it's the best game ever, and if you don't like it, you're a racist. They were the ones defending the game. That inevitably ended up putting everybody else who was critical of their involvement with Sweet Baby Inc. on the other side of, well, we're all getting called racists. So why am I going to support the game when all the people defending it are all these shills claiming that they're gifting all these copies to people when clearly they're not because nobody's playing it? They're all saying how it's a 10 out of 10 when clearly it's not. So the game got caught in the crossfire, I think, to be honest. What's the point of having a Game Awards in the first place? Here's the thing. I understand the desire, the curiosity of wondering what everyone else thinks of a movie or a TV show or a game or whatnot. I grew up back when the Oscars, the actual Oscars were fun to watch, when they had cool hosts like Billy Crystal, and it was pretty funny to watch, right? And back when the movies were genuinely better. But even back then, sure, it was a bunch of guys, a bunch of rich celebrities patting each other on the back. But it was back in the 90s, so things were a little more fun and lighthearted back then. Nowadays, I don't quite get it, especially when you watch like the Game Awards, when you watch the Summer Games Fest, and the people in the audience don't even look excited to be there. They're just kind of like, like golf clapping along. Like nobody seems like, there's no energy. The jokes on stage aren't funny. Everyone's super socially awkward. I don't know. Like, is there even much of a point in having a Game Awards anymore? Not just like the Game Awards. But, I know Stuttering Craig has his from Side Scrollers. He's got his own Game Awards that he's got going on. Hopefully that works out for him. But is there just no market for it, Right, Oblivion, but do we need award shows to show people where the games are to actually, do that? Oh, if I was going to watch anime 100% Berserk based on just the animation style and brutality level is definitely probably the one I would watch first. Berserk is that one that makes like the media freak out, so that's probably the one that I would try first. You agree that Deadlock is a massive social nonsense. However, they did it right. It's not bullshit in your face. Yeah, that's Minyo. That's the thing. To be fair, it's if you're going to include different types of gender orientations or sexual orientations or different types of lifestyle choices or whatever. If it's not the focal point of the game, then that's fine. Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, I've heard that's a good one. Nowadays, it feels rigged or people jumping on the band hate wagon. Like people just getting something to trend or fan the flames. True. That is true. So, yeah, the thing about that is, okay, Ivy, what? Cat's walking around the house screaming at the top of her lungs. Sword of the Stranger is underrated. I've heard that Attack on Titan is actually massively overrated. Games nobody plays in Japan and won awards. Well, I saw that the Korean Game Awards, like Stellar Blade won 7 awards straight, all the categories it swept. Oh, Ghost in the Shell. I think Mari put that on Discord, the opening scene for that. The music is super awesome. Dude, at this point, I discovered a couple years ago when I was playing Ghost... What's the name of that game? Not Ghost Rider. Shit, what's the name of that? I gotta pull my Steam account up here. Hang on a second. Ghost Runner. I don't need that. Ghost Runner. When I was playing Ghost Runner, I'm vibing the entire game to that Cyberpunk soundtrack. I'm like, okay, so I didn't play Cyberpunk 2077. The game itself didn't look interesting to me. But anything with Cyberpunk type music, I'm down with at this point. See, you guys are all geeking out to all your anime. I'm like, I barely know half the anime names you guys are talking about, throwing out there. Usually people who say that they don't watch anime because they think it's too childish, so you just recommend Badass Score. Senator ADL shut down stream. What's going on? What are you talking about, Anna? So are you doing a summarization of the stream here? Oh, God. That's one thing that Google and YouTube have started doing that I absolutely despise. When you go into a streamer's live stream and they have that AI summarization of what everyone's talking about, it's like, dude, get this pop-up out of my face. I'd rather go into the chat and read it for myself. It's like, oh, the audience is disagreeing about the quality of blah, blah, blah. It's like, what the hell? For highly gendered and inferior languages, pronouns will never be accepted. See, here, yeah, there's the thing, Tackle It. For me, it's like, here's the prime example. And I was going to make this point earlier and I forgot, so thank you for bringing this back up. People want to say, well, Apex Legends was woke when it first started. Oh, yeah, and as we talked about that. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually this article right here. This lovely asshole, Mark Werner, wants to try to shut down Steam because ADL pressure. It's stupid. When it comes to Apex Legends, though, when the game first launched, we found out that, oh yeah, Gibraltar is gay. They're not going to tell you if Bloodhound is, a male or a female, even though the voice actress is a female. And then that was about it. There was 7 characters at launch. The game was very much like Titanfall in gameplay. The weapons were really good. They felt good. The movement felt good. Oh, it's all good, Goo. Dude, I exist going off topic. If we don't go off topic, it hasn't been a complete stream. I go off topic probably 5 times. At least. Minimum. So with Apex Legends, you find out Gibraltar's gay at one point and you go, who cares? Okay, no big deal. It has no effect on the gameplay, has no effect on the game. There's no sex in the game. There's none of this other crap. He's just a playable character. You go in, you win, you lose. It's just, freaking Apex was just a fantastic shooter when it first launched. It was gritty. The movement was great. The weapons were great. Then it turned into around 2020, 2021, all the LGBT representation, all the pride flags, the Stop Asian Hate, and everything else, every virtue signal they could cram into the game. And then, of course, every new character in Apex Legends is now transgender, agender, bisexual, pansexual. It's turned into just a complete freak show. And you criticize it now, and everyone's like, well, you're some stupid chud. You don't realize Apex Legends was always woke. And you go, no. No, having a gay character was not woke. That's not what it means. It's when you feel the need to put representation ahead of everything else, that's woke, you know? One character's non-binary in season 2. That's just a trend, you know? At least Apex didn't have pronouns, yeah. That's true. Okay, so that's the one thing they haven't included in Apex is they have yet to go and actually in everyone's like bio, when you're looking at your legends, they don't say, she goes by she, her pronouns or any of that kind of nonsense. Which is surprising for EA. I would imagine EA would have done that a long time ago. Is Chud even an insult? Avernum, honest to God, at this point, no. Yeah, you love the gay dude in Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, they just said it had no place in the game. It had no bearing on the game. And it wasn't in your face. It wasn't some disgusting cringe fest. If you look at Apex Legends now, versus where it was 5 years ago, it doesn't even resemble the same game. Not only have they made the game, in my opinion, borderline unplayable, like I'll hop on and play with my kids and I'm like, first off, I played on controller, not on mouse and keyboard. So even though I've gotten used to mouse and keyboard, trying to play in a PC lobby with these sweaty 25-year-olds who are, you know, trying to be the next esports star, I can't keep up in a PC lobby. There's no way. But even then, they've changed the weapons so much. They've changed the skins so much. Everything is... it looks like freaking Fortnite at this point. Nothing looks like it used to. The game was dirty. It was, you know, rocks and skulls and, you know, broken down building. It was very much more like the style of Titanfall. Very much like a... Not dystopian, but, you know, it was more of a sci-fi. Whereas now everything is just like freaking god-awful Fortnite shit. And I'm sick and tired of it. It feels weird for you not to play as a white person. Well, Kim, here's the thing. Like, I play other games, like, again, I haven't played it for a while, but Hell Let Loose, fantastic mass shooter game, you know, but when you hop into a server, it takes like an hour to get through one game. Insurgency Sandstorm, my absolute favorite PvP shooter. Then, of course, like I said, I've been playing a lot of Starship Troopers Extermination. That game is so much fun. And it's just killing insects. It's great. So again, there's a lot of other good FPS options. Sure, you can play Call of Duty. Yeah, I'm kind of beyond Call of Duty at this point. I played it for a couple of years and I was just done. If you don't get called a chud online or by some dumbass barista who can't get your coffee right, you can't sleep well that night. 2019 was peak. Yes, Modern Warfare in 2019 was 100% peak. That right there, like that was the one Modern Warfare game I really got into. I played a shit ton of Warzone with my buddies back on my Xbox. And after about a year of that, I just got done with it. I was over it. Hey, Minyo, I actually liked Call of Duty World War II. I liked that game a lot. See, I don't play many fighting games. Not many at all. You stop playing online FPS games because of the cheaters and griefers. Yeah, that is true. Oh, dude, if you don't want to play a FPS game because of cheaters or the sweaty boys, don't ever play Escape from Tarkov. Holy shit. Like, when I first built my computer 5 years ago, that was the one game I was looking forward to the most because I watched streamers play it and I'm like, oh, Escape from Tarkov. I love the sound, I love the movement, I love all the aspects of the game. This would be great, right? And then I built my computer and a friend gifted me a copy of Escape from Tarkov. And I played it off and on for about a year and a half, really trying to get good at it, not playing it full time, but just like jumping in and playing, you know, a match here or there. And after a couple of years, I'm like, this is just not fun anymore, you know? Battlefield 1. I tried Battlefield 2042. I think I played Battlefield 4 with a few friends that I played Warzone with as well. Oh, NS, I can always count on you for that take. Then all of you rage quit. Yeah, but unfortunately at that point, Avernum, you're out the money. See, I've been looking at picking up Rust for forever, and I can't get around to it, and it's like, then that's just gonna be another game that I'm just not gonna sit around. Okay, so NS, my take is less spicy than your take. I don't understand why in a game when you're playing, like the Nazis, for example, when I'd be playing my World War II simulators back in the day, back on my old Windows Gateway computer, before the days back when we had dial-up internet, when you played the Germans, you had a Nazi logo, a swastika or whatever, on your military vehicle or your tank or whatever. It wasn't considered, oh, this is problematic to have a Nazi swastika on some. It's like, no, that was their military symbol. So it's just, or their party symbol. It's what you expected to see. Now they'll use like, I think Hell Let Loose, they don't use the swastika. They use like the cross of, what do they call it? Something with an H. My German's rusty right now. But it's like, okay, are you really doing anybody a service or protecting anybody by not using a swastika? Like, is it really, everyone knows that that's what the German Nazis used. Like, I don't understand them. They removed them in Call of Duty World War II, probably. I have not played EVE Online. I think when EVE Online was popular, I was playing a lot of Guild Wars, dude. I famously said for many years now, when Iron Cross, thank you. When games like EVE Online were popular, I was playing Guild Wars. I put 2,000 hours in 1 year, you know? They removed the Axis entirely. Like, they don't call it the Axis anymore. That's so weird. You don't play multiplayer other than invading Souls players and toxicities. Dude, I actually enjoy getting invaded, and I enjoy occasionally invading other people, but I did it more on Elden Ring than Dark Souls 3. I played Dark Souls 3 one time through entirely. Once I got done with that, I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. I can move on to Elden Ring now. Same thing in Call of Duty Vanguard also. Well, but Geek, here's the thing. It's like, you're still playing the, I mean, if we're being, like I said, if we're being nuanced about it, no, the German soldiers weren't the Nazis. But if you're using an American flag to represent the American military, well, then the Nazi flag to represent the Nazis makes sense in a way. Or I guess the German flag would make sense too. I don't know. I think that they're so overly sensitive about the wrong things that editing that out just seems stupid. I don't know. Day of Defeat had the cross for the Germans. And it's not some hill I'm going to die on. It's like, it doesn't like bother me that much. I think it's just a stupid, that's an example of pointless censorship. I don't think it hurts anybody, and I don't think it helps anybody. Someone made a Tarkov like that was only single player. Okay, so Evernum. I did a video on this months ago. Nobody saw it because nobody cares about Tarkov. I mean, outside of people playing Tarkov and guides on how to get better at Tarkov, the conversations around Tarkov, people don't really care as much. You either hate Tarkov or you love it. But apparently, when they did this whole thing with, you know, screwing people around with all this shit, these updates and this price gouging with all these different bundles they did, they have single player or offline co-op with, you know, friends, but you have to pay for it. It's a separate game now. So even if you own the base copy or the expanded copy of, like, I think I have the second tier of Escape from Tarkov, where I've got the expanded inventory, not the biggest. But honest to God, you have to pay to play the single player or offline co-op, if you will, version of the game. I downloaded Lies of P like 2 years ago, and then I never got around to playing it. I really should have, because I heard that it's really, really good. So maybe next year we'll catch up. I gotta finish Shadow of the Erdtree. I gotta finish Black Myth Wukong. I gotta start playing Ghost of Tsushima, while I'm still playing other games that I enjoy just to kind of kick back and play, like, you know, Insurgency and shit that I just do for my own enjoyment off stream. So there's a lot, and I got no time. I need more time. Can you guys find me more time in the course of my day? I mean, work is going to quiet down in a few weeks here, but I need more time. Not sure when we're going to get there. Oh, Korean Cowboy, I just saw that you joined Discord. If the CAPTCHA thing isn't working for you, I can just push you through to verified. Let me see if you have that role. Oh, you already have that role. Sweet. All right. I have to Dude, I never finished Minecraft. I only played Minecraft for shits and giggles. Like, I spent, back in 2020, when I was still playing on my Xbox, I spent about a year in survival mode, not on creative mode, on survival, digging and crafting this stone wall. I had this like fortress on a hill, and this stone wall that I went from top to bottom, probably 100 blocks high, putting, you know, cobblestone around and leveling the entire thing out so it was flat all across the surface, okay? Absolutely insane. Welcome to adulthood. Dude, I'm 2 years away from 40. I've been in adulthood for too long at this point. You had high hope for Marauders, but also got infested. Dude, the thing is, I just need more games. Not more games, sorry. Strike that, reverse it. Oh no! Dude, Smash. Holy crap, dude. How was your stream, buddy? Appreciate the raid. I don't even know if YouTube has a raid feature. Yo, guys, I'm sure that every single one of you is already subscribed to Smash JT, but if you're not, go subscribe. That man puts in a lot of work. A lot of work. See, now I can't even keep track of the chat, guys. Come on. Smash, dude, you are a real one. I appreciate you, dude. I mean, I know I've talked to a few people about like YouTube and the algorithm and trying to figure out ways around it. And Smash has always been open to me DMing him and stuff and chatting. So he's a real one. Been very supportive. Yeah, no, Smash, we're just been going over the shit show with the ADL, bunch of your articles, Twitch, Steam, Assassin's Creed, all good stuff. You were in his chat earlier? Yeah, I think we have a lot of crossover. Smash just has a much bigger channel. I mean, admittedly, he's gotten himself into
Thank you very much,
a little bit more controversy than I have.
And a scholar.
I have been... I'll be honest, like I've talked about it before. I'm so beyond over Alyssa Mercante that I don't even like hearing about her anymore. And Smash has got like her trying to like sue him and shit. And it's been like, dude, I don't even know how you deal with that. Hey guys, thanks for subscribing. Appreciate it. But yeah, no, you got a pair on you, dude, and I admire that. Me personally, I'm kind of over her. I'm over her drama. She's just not worth it for me personally. News article, closeted homosexual YouTuber. Dude, I am not closeted. If anything, I am way too out in the open. We are united in laughing at the Game Awards, 100%. Yeah, this entire thing with the senator, I don't even care what political party they're affiliated with. This is just another example of these boomers that are unfortunately still infested in U.S. government that are just... She's hunting you down. Dude, okay, so you know Old Man Grimm, right? I'm pretty sure we both follow him on Twitter. That man, he's always posting Alyssa's stuff, and I'm like, dude, no, I don't want to see it. I've moved on, right? But the unhinged shit that she's been putting out there is absolutely insane. See that it just broke that Sony's looking to buy Katakawa from Software for Gaming and Anime? I didn't see that. She just wants to smash JT, that's all. Yeah, hell, hey Kira, how's it going? Yeah, aim quickly became stale. I don't know. Like I've said before, if Alyssa writes an article that's worth covering and there's something that's actually substantial there, I'll cover her. Personally for me, I've kind of like, I'm so sick of tired of seeing her face. And now that she's basically doing like an OnlyFans thing through Patreon, it's gotten to be like, oh my God. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's unbelievable. He keeps you in the loop, yeah. Every day, the shit show continues to get worse and worse. Alyssa went inside. No, forget Alyssa. If anybody's going inside the Smash Shack, it's going to be me. Dude, my wife and I, we need to move at some point in the next couple months here because our rent's going up in our apartment. And at this point, I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and pay more for rent. Because my rent's going to go up anyways. I'm like, I might as well get a house or a little bit bigger place than we have now. And so we're looking around trying to find something that's not like massively overpriced. And the one thing I want is a little nook to myself. I'm like, I just want a little cubicle, one little corner in like a room off to the side, even a freaking broom closet at this point that I can put my computer in and I wouldn't have to think about anything for 5 minutes, where I could just record a video or do a live stream and the kids wouldn't be like in my hair or whatever, but you know, it is what it is. So yes, I am very envious of the Smash Shack, not gonna lie. Grateful Gamer, thanks for subscribing, appreciate it. I'm sure we'll see her working on the street here in Montreal. Oh, yeah. No, I'm based on the company she was keeping. Aren't those two black guys that were with her gay? I'm sure that Khalif Adams is. No question there. Covering Alyssa every time she does anything gives her oxygen. Just ignore her until there's something major. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not that I'm 100% anti-covering her. It's more about like it needs to be something pertinent. Because I hate giving her free advertising. I'll talk about her if there's something worthwhile talking about, you know? Oh, man, we were okay. So the short version of the story is back in 2020, we were looking at getting all of our finances in order to be able to buy a house. Things were cooking. We were on track. We were ready to go. And then, COVID happened. My work, my income, like flatlined. My wife, because she had an Etsy shop, it flatlined. So basically everything dried up. Well, at that point, the ability to buy a house it disappeared for us. We were looking at buying a manufactured home, putting it on a nice piece of property. We were looking at these things that were like 2,000 square feet. I'd have my own little office with a door I could close. I could get a little man cave in there. That entire thing completely disappeared. Now here we are 4 years later, and I'm still in the same apartment I've been in for like the last 10 years. My kids are all 10 years older. They're all freaking, they're all going to be teenagers soon. And my oldest is almost 12, and then my twins are turning 10 next May. So, broom closet, the craving every man has. Dude, honest to God, at this point, I would settle for a broom closet. You got to understand, NS, my first bedroom, I have 3 older brothers. We grew up, my parents were either self-employed or broke, working for somebody else. My first bedroom, I didn't have my own room until I was like 16. And it was basically the size of a closet, and I was damn happy to have that closet, okay? Not even kidding. Best time to buy property on credit was January 2022. Well, the best time was back in, 2008, right before 2008. My brother bought a house back in like 2006 or 7. They didn't make him prove his income with his taxes. I'm talking, he bought that thing cheap, very little money down. He bought a house that was probably about 1,800 square feet for, I want to say, less than 200,000. We'll never see that again. There's just no way. That will never happen again. Well, you have a menu. I got to have cash. I'm not sitting on Fort Knox over here, dude. That's the problem. Man cave's a sacred place. No other entity is allowed entrance unless you pass
Absolutely
the
not.
bro vibe check.
I like to be liked. I enjoy being liked.
Some dumb goy, thank you for becoming a minimalist. Appreciate it, dude. It's also a pretty funny name, not gonna lie. Oh my god, I always know when NS is gonna like that one. Middle of nowhere is good, or Japan. Oh, dude, honestly, I'm not saying that because I don't want to beg for tips or members. I just appreciate the hell out of you guys being here. Appreciate Smash for just doing his thing. I mean, honest to God. I know that, I bitch about the algorithm sometimes, but I feel like we just need to keep up steam and we'll all be good. That whole rising tides and all that shit, When you were a teenager, you shared a room with your grandparents. Oh, man. Oof. That's rough. It was a big room, size of a living room. It's
to be liked?
Embarrassing.
Absolutely not.
That's not
I like to be
embarrassing. What are
liked.
you talking about?
Enjoy being liked. I have to
Yo,
be liked.
Smash, dude. Appreciate you, man. Bought my house for around $30,000 here in Europe. The problem is that you earn about a fifth of the U.S. minimum wage. So, like I was saying, we have this gal on Discord, this Japanese gal, and she's very well versed in traveling all over parts of the world. And she's saying that apparently in Japan, you can have a decent, American income and live really nicely over there. Apparently Japan is where it's at for people who are looking just to go somewhere, buy a house, live comfortably. I don't know. Honest to God, NS, what are you doing, man?
Present.
What the hell, man?
Do I need to be liked? Absolutely not.
Oh my
I
God.
like to be, do I need to be liked? Absolutely not. I like to be liked. Do I need to be
I gotta
liked?
stop you somehow,
Absolutely
dude.
not.
I gotta stop you.
Do I need
You're
to be
insane.
liked? Absolutely not. I like to be liked. I enjoy being liked.
Dude, NS, I appreciate
to
the hell
be
out of you,
liked.
dude. You know that. Oh yeah, Smash, you go get some sleep, dude. I gotta do the same pretty soon here. I gotta take my car to the freaking Ford dealer tomorrow, so I gotta get up bright and early. Dude, I appreciate the raid. I appreciate, like I said, everything you've been doing. I feel like I need to make more articles, so I appreciate when you have articles. That way I don't have to write anything. I can just read yours. Makes my work a little bit easier, Putting your money where your mouth is. Hey, you know what? I appreciate that, dude. There isn't a lot of $1 houses in Japan. You don't want to know how much your apartment costs. Okay, well, for just comparison's sake, you don't have to tell me any details, Joe.
Thank
But
you very
like
much,
my
sir.
my apartment
You're a
here,
gentleman and a
okay?
scholar.
My apartment here. Thanks for subscribing, PJ. Appreciate it. My apartment is a 1,000 square foot, 3-bedroom apartment. All right. It costs me over $2,000 a month because I also have a garage. That's it. Well, Smash, you take all the heat. I just kind of like sit in the back and just make my videos. So, like I said, I appreciate you doing what you do. Makes my job a little bit easier. All right, later, man. Get some sleep. I know my wife's in the other room, probably like, you said you were going to bed like 20 minutes ago. Honest to God, before Smash raided, we were like wrapping up here and get ready to go. So yeah, my rent in this apartment, because I've been in this apartment for 10 years now, has gone up, I want to say $700 in the last 4 or 5 years. It's absolutely insane. Incredibly unbelievable. I mean, nothing else has gone up that high other than like, you know, if you want to go to Disneyland or go to a concert or a movie or some shit. One of those countries that foreigners have to forfeit their existing citizenship. Hey, you know what, Andrew? Here's the thing. Yeah, I'm not going to tell her why bros before hoes. She'd laugh. My wife's not sensitive about that kind of crap. But no, I'm not going to say that. Oh, neighbors are fighting downstairs. The joys of living in an apartment. They just slammed their back door. My entire desk rattled. Good times. The thing about living in Japan is if I was going to move there, I wouldn't mind giving up citizenship here because the fact of the matter is, if I'm going to live somewhere, I want to be a citizen. I'm not a fan of dual citizenship. I'm not a fan of leeching off one country while you can run away to another. So for me personally, if I'm going to move to another country, I would do it through the means of intending to live there as a citizen for a long time. So that being said, I know it's not for everybody, but for me personally, it's like I wouldn't mind if I'm going to go live somewhere, I'm going to be a citizen, you know? Your rent went up $45 in the last 12 years. Oh my God. 70 square meters. See, I don't... Conversion of meters to feet. It's like a little more than 3 feet. 17... That's expensive. Wow. That is actually pretty insane. Everyone in U.S. government disliked that. Well, I'm also not a fan of the government, so that's not too shocking there, right? Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's way more expensive than I thought. Wow. All right, well, guys, despite the fact that Smash was insane and came here and raided, and you guys have all been super awesome, I do have to get some sleep because, like I said, I got to get up early, get my van to the dealer before I go to work. Then my wife has to take me from the dealer to work, which means we got to go load up all of our kids, which they're going to be grumpy. So I should probably wrap things up here. Japan would be nice just for all the anime we don't get here. See, again, I gotta brush up on knowing what anime is currently like worth watching and actually watching some of the stuff you guys have recommended. Hey, I'm halfway through or most of the way through the second season of Daredevil after you guys telling me for like the last year and a half to watch it. So if you can stand a train ride, you can get cheaper. I don't know. And that's the other thing is I don't know how I would do giving up my car. I know a lot of people that live in like the cities and stuff don't drive. I'm like, I like my car. Not that my cars are nice, but I just like to have the freedom of driving wherever I want to go. Great stream. No, Geek, it's because you guys. It's only great because you guys actually show up, man. Guy has a shafting tomorrow. Dude, honestly, Minyo, that's what I'm worried about because I spent about $2,000 6 months ago getting my van a tune-up, getting the brakes, calipers, the discs, not discs, sorry, the actual wheel, like on, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think of the word I'm looking for now. I spent like $2,000 on brakes, wires, all sorts of stuff, tune up on my van, right? About 6 months ago, and I'm like, okay, my van's paid off, it's all tuned up, brakes are good, everything's good. I won't have to spend money on it anytime soon. Then some asshole decided over the last 6 months to try breaking into my van little by little to where they've ruined the key, or the lock on the door, so I have to use the key to get it open. The latch doesn't detect. It thinks that the door is open the entire time I'm driving around. The sensor's going off nonstop. I have to turn off all the inside lights so they're not on 24/7. So now I have no idea where they're going to charge me for that. I've got no clue. Papa Pickles, Daredevil is one of the best shows I've seen, forget about Marvel, just in a long time. It is so good, you know? It's just a great show. 90s cars wrenching a blowtorch good, yeah. No, freaking Daredevil, that show is actually like every night I'm like, okay, do I have time to watch one, you know? you know, my insurance has done really well with things like broken windows, that kind of stuff when there's been like a break-in. With this situation, because it was just them messing with the lock, like they didn't break the door, they didn't break the window, it was just that they screwed up the actual lock. I don't know. I've got no idea. Yeah, it is what it is, Luigi, unfortunately. But you know what? It'll be fine. I'll put it on a credit card with no interest for a year, and then you have Costco in Japan? Oh shit, I'm coming. We're on the way. Make fun of the streamer here. This guy ironically watched the entire. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with watching Rings of Power to mock it. We saw the first season. I had to see how much worse it could get, and it got way worse. Okay, come on. It did not disappoint in quality because I knew how bad it was going to get. Yeah, that's sinking in exactly. All right, guys. Like I said, I appreciate the hell out of everybody who's here, for you guys for staying, for Smash with the Raid, NS with, again, the 10 gifted, for you guys that have become members recently. But I do have to sleep. So that being said, I'm out. I will try to have some new videos out over the next couple days. It's really rough on these nights where I'm streaming because I have no time to make a video beforehand, but we will get to it as soon as possible. Woke Trash Game Awards, 100%. It is what it is, guys. If you expect it to be anything else, you're only lying to yourself. Oh, the Punisher stuff's fantastic. That's honestly the best part of the show. Oh yeah, we'll see how many thousands of dollars they want to suck out of me tomorrow. We'll see. All right, you crazy people. I am out of here. Good night, everybody.